What? Look, okay, maybe you can make an argument I need to go to the gym more. Too much? Too much? Okay.
I'm okay. It's just the way you said that.
I'm just saying.
You've got me twice already. That gets.
Look, I got nothing to lose anymore, man. I got only everything to gain.
I'm about to get canceled.
Yeah, sorry.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the Carlos Granado podcast. And today we have a very, very special guest. But before I introduce you to him, I want to thank you guys always for watching and listening. Don't forget that you can watch this episode on my YouTube channel in 4K all the time. So the best quality just for you guys. Also, you can listen to it on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Amazon Music. So I almost forgot the third one. But without further ado, let me introduce you to my friend, Jared. What's going on, man?
Brother, I am so blessed and happy to be here with you, man.
I'm so excited to have you, brother. I'm so excited to have you here, man.
Dude, I'm excited too, brother. It's so good to see you. I still go back to that. We talked about it on the other day where it's like you and me both cross paths, like getting our podcast set up in a Best Buy.
A Best Buy, bro.
And we're just like, what's up, man? I haven't seen you in so long. What you into? It's like, oh, I'm starting a podcast. Me too.
Dude, it was awesome. And for the people that don't know, we go way back, man. We go back in high school days where we were in the football team, state champs, 2011. What was that? 10? I graduated 11, so
I know
them up, but
it's good.
yeah, man. Hey, listen, man, I'm happy to have you. For you guys that also don't know, Jared started his own podcast, which I'm going to link in the description of my YouTube channel. And of course, if you guys can go subscribe and show some love, you know, he is growing. The content is fire. And I'm happy for you, man. I'm glad it's another fellow podcaster on my channel, and I love to see that.
Bro, I mean, that's the thing is like we're like you definitely like we've been when we first started talking about getting on like doing the back and forth coming on.
Yeah.
I was like, dude, we've been watching your content and it's top notch, bro. I mean, like it is. You as are legit as anyone that I've seen.
I appreciate the gas, man. Thank you so much, bro. Thank you. I really appreciate that. I feel it's cool though, right? Like having a podcast and talking a lot. Like I feel like after you get done, it's like very therapeutical. Is that the right word?
Therapeutic, yeah.
Therapeutic. Yes. Isn't it though? Like I feel like you're talking to a therapist afterwards. I'm like, man, I got a lot on my chest in that podcast. Now I feel good.
I've seen a bunch of girls on TikTok saying, don't start a podcast, go to therapy. I'm like, no, me and my boys, we're going to get together and we're going to talk it out.
That is our therapy. What you talking about, bro? Oh, man. So the first thing I wanted to start to talk about was your music career, man. I know you've been doing it for a while. I'm not sure if you did this after you graduated high school or did you do it even before you started with music?
Yeah, I did. Like the thing with high school was I kind of always knew like music was something that I just got bitten by the bug. Like everyone's got that thing that they try out. And then like for me, my parents, they're a huge blessing because like they literally just were like, hey, we'll give you something to start out with, like to try.
Okay.
So one Christmas, they're like, well, and I have two sisters and I love them to death. And my parents are always trying to make sure they did it right by all of us. You know, like if they wanted to do soccer and I wanted to do football, they wanted to, like they formulated a plan so that we could both have exactly the kind of an equal like chance at both. It was super difficult. And the older I get, the more I'm like, wow, you guys sacrificed a lot. And I can't like I call them up. I'm like, thanks, Dad.
That's a blessing, man.
Yeah.
That's a blessing.
But one Christmas they bought like kind of like for me, it was a Fender not Showmaster, Fender Stage Man. It was like $100, guitar case, little 15-watt amp. If guitar players out there, you know the one I'm talking about.
Yeah.
That Squire setup.
I have no idea, but
yeah, I mean, it's just like, oh yeah, that's where like if you want to get like your nephew or somebody, your niece or nephew a guitar, it's like I want to learn how to play guitar. You give it to them, and it's like it's a good starter pack just to say, hey, try it out, and if it sticks, it sticks. And they got my sister. They got like one of those Casio keyboards with the light up keys and stuff.
Okay, gotcha.
So you could kind of teach yourself a little bit. My sister Jordan, she did that for a little bit, had a couple of recitals, and she's like, not feeling it. And it's like, oh, cool. And then like they had a drum set, which
that's what got you.
Well, it's just like, wait, you're telling me I can hit it as hard as I can. I'm not gonna get yelled at, and like I'm not gonna get in trouble. As like a young kid, as a little boy, you're telling me I can hit stuff and not get in trouble. That's awesome. So I did like they had that and the guitar. I just like would crank that thing up. Like Saturday mornings was always my time.
Yeah.
It's like I had to get all the schoolwork done, and I like I got it done. It wasn't exactly all correct, but it was completed.
It was completed.
But Saturday mornings, I'd always go into the garage, and then I'd just crank it up, and all my neighbors be walking by. And the best compliment, they would always say, he's getting better. He's getting better. We could tell. He's been practicing.
That's awesome.
But yeah, and I just never put it down, man. And like, it just kept playing stuff. And I think it was a part of it being the youngest.
Yeah.
Like, because are you the youngest or the oldest?
I'm the oldest. I have my brother is the youngest, and then my sister is the middle. So
is your younger brother? Does he kind of have that like big personality, kind of, or is he outgoing?
he
like
actually he actually is more on the quiet side. I think we
Really?
took the personality. Yeah, but he is always like doing creative stuff, especially in his room.
Because there's a lot of people out there that say that that's kind of like a trend that they see in the younger like siblings, like the oldest because of like just timing and stuff. They're the trailblazers.
Yeah.
So they're the ones that get
The
all
learning process, but we're the learning curve.
Yeah, it's like, hey man, I tried that. It didn't work very well. You want to do something a little different. But I mean, I got like I don't know. It was just growing up with two sisters. The best part is like my sisters had friends, and I was like, hello, lady.
Hello, how you doing?
Like I said, full-time musician, part-time lover. But it's that's
I
the
like
thing.
that, man.
I mean, it's just you try to like. I just became a ham bone. Like I just wanted to get out there and like just get all the attention and stuff. As a young child, like they're the youngest, I feel like that's kind of the thing that I've been kind of leaning into my whole life. And yeah, I mean, it's just kind of cool. Like you get together with a group of friends, and then it's like, hey, you want to play? Like, I got a guitar, man. You guys know? You want to sing a song? Like, it started out back. I mean, criminy, I was playing guitar like when I think I got it. It was like my 8th or 9th like Christmas, like when I was 8 or 9 years old.
Okay.
Because it was the quarter size guitar, and like I said, that starter pack, and then. I just like eventually I took lessons a little bit later around like maybe 11 or 10 somewhere out there, and then by 13 I was like, let's go play, let's go outside, like let's go play it. I want to play places. Like I've learned a bunch of songs, a bunch of classic rock songs, which is what my parents raised me on. It's just the vinyls and excuse me, don't want to burp into the mic. That's not exactly.
It's all good. It's all good.
Yeah, but I mean it's like that kind of stuff. Like I was playing out at like open mics like 13 years old.
Wow.
Wasn't great, but
you were making it happen.
But I was like, you can't play for the garage and stuff and all the all the stuff there. You got to get out there and everyone, all the musicians and stuff I was looking up to at that time. They just like Dave Grohl. He's always like I saw on one of his many podcasts he talked about what's the best way to get good at music, and he said get out and play. Just go play. I mean. It's kind of like with football, like, me and him, state champs, no big deal.
What's up, now? You know what I mean?
Let's go.
History.
But it's like, you got to get out and you got to play and like test your mettle against people.
Yeah.
And, people are always critics and stuff, but you get out there and then I was just playing. People are like, oh, you're really good for your age. And I was like, what do you mean? Like, good, I'm good, right? It's like, or am I good for my age? And so it started kind of building from there. And then once I got to high school, the problem that I had was finding people to play with, like doing a full band.
Got you.
Because I mean, if you are trying to get out and do stuff, you want to, play football. You want to, maybe do like other extracurricular things, or you got other hobbies and stuff. It's hard to really like nail down, and you got to make sacrifices.
Yep.
Like for me, I didn't realize it at the time, but like video games, I love video games. I think they're great. I'll play zombies any day.
I love zombies.
I mean, dude, it's just it gets you like, but I understand the addictiveness of it.
Yeah.
But then, like when you have something like music that you really are passionate about, you want to do that more than you do want to play video games,
right?
And then the feeling of playing with other people, and like you just look at somebody and you give them that little,
the look.
You're like, where we're going. It's like, I know where you're going, and they meet you right there at the chorus or that big hype part of the song. The crowd goes crazy. Like it's an exhilarating feeling, and it's just like you have it happen once or twice, and you're like, I want that every time.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And you started your band after high school, or you started looking for? How did that start? Because you do have your own band. I want people to know he does have his own band, and I can post the links to to.
Please do. Yeah. I mean right now it's it's Jared Monday. Spelled with a U, not an O.
With a U, no, it's not Lunes.
It's not Lunes. It's like, and everyone talks about how much they love Mondays, and the band I'm with now is just so. And all my friends have heard this joke. It's like, hey, like I always like try to use like those little tricks to make people remember stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just like, hey, my name's Jared Monday, just like your favorite day of the week. And you hear that, oh my God, get him.
That's
this
a good
guy
one.
stinks.
No, that's a good one though.
I think it is. All my friends, however, think I've heard it a billion times, and so they are
they're
over
bored.
it.
Yeah, they're bored.
But yeah, and I mean, like, but what happens is like in high school, really middle school, I met up actually because you were in Berkmar district in
I was
school,
in Berkmar, yeah, in 2007 and 2008. I was in Berkmar.
which is I'm not gonna pretend like I know much about like the school districts. I was lucky to get through the school I was in, but I mean, like the thing was, I went to Five Forks Middle School,
Okay.
so that was in the Brookwood cluster. But what was crazy is I could not find other people to play with, and so I even at one point I started first with guitar and drums, and the drums I didn't really get lessons on
Okay.
at first, but I started with guitar. And no one else that I was playing with or could find a jam with, like especially my age, none of them wanted to sing because they all sounded like,
They all sound like
entertain. It's just like your voice has changed, and so I'm just, I'm like, well, I could scream, I can like yell, I can be like really high energy and like just kind of try to mimic stuff.
Yeah.
So I just kind of walked up to the mic and was like, screw it, if no one else is going to sing, I will. And I mean, you get to be the spotlight, so I mean
That's pretty dope.
it might have been a little.
So when you sing, the ladies be checking out.
You think, but I mean, it's a mixed bag. Some girls are real into it. Some girls just they're like, oh, how much do you make as a musician? Ooh, wait, how many followers do you have?
Well, right now though, but you gotta.
They don't know.
Yeah, they don't know yet. Yeah, until you make it.
That lady that finds me, and like I find her, and I'm like, listen, we're gonna build something here. We're gonna build a music empire. But what was crazy about the
Fake it before you make it.
Oh, bro, I'm gonna. I love that saying, "Fake it until you make it." But I hate the idea of faking. It's like, no, I'm trying. I'm just going to be doing whatever I think someone that is successful is doing.
Yeah.
Whatever they're doing, I'm going to try to copy, mimic. Try to do the best mockery or like not mockery.
I think that.
Yeah,
imitate.
Imitate, yeah.
I got you.
It's like they might think of me imitating it as like, why are you mocking me? It's like, I'm trying my best. I swear. But what happened in middle school was I couldn't find people to play with, and so I started like looking out, trying to find like other things. Because I started with guitar, I was and practice like actually got like a formal like teaching with guitar,
Yeah.
and then that translated over into doing the bass because I noticed that there was a lot of guitar players. Like the joke is like you can find a guitar player, just flip over a rock, like.
Wait, are there many guitar players?
So many, dude. I mean,
That's wild because
yeah, it's you think that it's like, oh, it's it's like something, but it's like a lot of people are out there and they just they like how many people like have you ever seen like this is something I noticed because I'm a musician in the background of commercials. There's always a guitar.
oh,
Like you're going to probably start seeing it now, but there's like, hey, we're showing.
now I'm gonna actually be looking out for that in
it's-
commercials.
Oh, like there was this one commercial I saw recently where it was like some kind of old people medicine. Like it was like, hey, does your heart not work right, or does you got this weird thing? Like just like one of those stereotypical like, hey, are you over 65? Like you might. Need
Oh, those type of commercials.
Yeah, those kind of commercials. Like it's like, hey, you're getting into your golden years. Like maybe you might need some cholesterol medicine or something. And I saw this one where the lady. She was literally holding a guitar and I was trying to say, like, hey, this, I wouldn't even mention it because I'm not a doctor. This might shock you to find out. But
Thanks for letting us know.
yeah, just in case we start giving medical advice, you have been through a lot more medical stuff and done your research and like due diligence. I am just shooting from the hip.
Got you.
But it's like this lady was sitting there and she was strumming the guitar like this, like just open hand. And I was like, she is not playing the guitar.
That is bad form.
But it's like you start noticing that kind of stuff because there's a lot of guitar players. And so I was like, one of the things I can do to help like maybe get a band started is learn a little bit of bass. So bass guitar and drums are always some of the hardest musicians to find in my case. Right up there with keyboard players and piano players. Like those guys.
So what's the difference between keyboard and piano? Is that the same thing or no?
It kind of is like
It's the same difference.
every piano player is a keyboard player, but not every keyboard player is a piano player.
One more time.
Not every piano player is a keyboard player, but not every keyboard player is a piano player.
Oh, dang.
Because I mean, like, there's the traditional sense of like like an Elton John or a Billy Joel that plays like a this like an acoustic. I say acoustic piano, but a traditional piano with the keys and the hammers and the strings.
Okay.
And you can't really change up the sounds on that. It's a piano. And then you got guys that are like from the bands like Boston, Chicago, or there's a lot of them. Like, but those two examples where you have like an organ player that's a keys player, or if you see those guys at the concerts that have like 3 or 4 keyboards on each side, like those guys are doing all kinds of different sounds.
I've seen that. I've seen that before.
Because when a keyboard player, they're usually a piano player, and they switch over because you can go into violins, trumpets. You can make a lot of the MIDI sounds and other sounds like that. But I mean, there's a slight difference in it. The methodology and stuff, there's probably a lot of different a very wide range of thought processes and approaches to it.
Yeah.
Me, I just look. I need someone that can do keys, that can make a piano sound, can also maybe do some trumpets, fill in a bunch of like spots, like just as a one person thing. But finding musicians has always been the hard part for me. Because starting so young, there's a lot of people that are older. And when I was like 15, older was me now. Like, oh, you're 30. You're like old. I'm like, no, we're not. We still got plenty of life.
Hey, we're just hitting our prime. Chill.
Exactly. Like y'all find
our
out.
Maturity prime.
Exactly. But like in middle school, I started a rock band club to just because I couldn't, meet everybody in the school. Like as hard as I tried and walked around and was just a social butterfly, I couldn't find anyone that was also doing music right off the rip.
Mm-hmm.
So I went to I was in band, and Mr. Joe Bader, God bless you. You were a huge part of my music career. And
Shout out Joe.
He was just a phenomenal musician.
Yeah.
Super high class trumpet player, band director. And he led the jazz band. I played in the jazz band and stuff. And I asked him if, hey, if I wanted to start a club, how would I go about that? And he said, basically, you just need to have approval from the school and then have some teachers to chaperone.
Kind of overview.
Yeah, just make sure you're not in there just tearing stuff up.
Right.
And I was like, that's it? Okay. So I went, and I had a pretty good relationship with a lot of my teachers, and I asked them, and a couple of them were like, oh, you want to start a rock band club? That sounds amazing. And Mr. Bader, the band director and the jazz band director, he had all the music stuff, so I obviously looped him in and was like, hey, look, I will bring my bass amp and my guitar amp just to get things started. If I could use the little PA speaker, just if we do have some singers and stuff, we'll start small and see what happens. And Carlos, let me tell you, the first, I went on, you remember the school announcements that you had every day? You'd stand up, say the pledge, today for lunch we're having this, and then this Friday is this thing, and it's just the the news kind of pretend little thing that we did. So I had my little 30 seconds, hey guys, it's Jared here. I'm starting a
Wait,
rock.
did you really?
Yeah, I went the whole way. I was like, I need to find some people. I'm going to start a rock band club. So I think I was in 7th grade, and I started the rock band club, and literally I met I want to say it was Friday mornings. It was Friday mornings, which middle school started later than high school, obviously. And so I was like, hey, if you guys can get to the school at I think it was 7:30-ish.
I think school starts at 8 or something.
Yeah.
Right, middle school.
So like an hour or something beforehand. We had an hour-ish. And I said I would get there super early, and I became really good friends with one of the janitors that was this old Deadhead, which Deadhead is a fan base of the Grateful Dead. Is another it's a
I don't even
it's a whole culture community thing. The Deadheads are still going strong, multi generations deep, people that just love it. But I the janitor, he would get there probably at 6 o'clock. I'd get there around 6:30, and he'd be like, hey Jared, lets me on in. I'd run down to the band room with the big old thing of keys, unlock it, run it back up to him and stuff. It was super chill, and just nowadays you think about a kid doing that,
you're
like, are you crazy? You're gonna let a kid have the entire keychain, that big thing?
Yeah, that's kind of wild thinking about that.
Yeah, but I mean, you just be nice, you be kind, and you don't lie. It's no, I'm not trying to do anything stupid. I'm just trying to play music here and find some people in a band. So I'd get there, I'd set up the drum set, which that's always the hardest part is the drums and stuff. You get that set up. I'd set everything up, and about 5 or 6 guitar players showed up. one bass player showed up, and that was my first bass player, JoJo. If you, yeah, we're talking
Shout
about you,
out.
bro.
Shout out.
JoJo, you were the guy. Showed up in his Stone Cold Steve Austin like hockey jersey.
Oh, that's so gangster.
oh, and
that's so fire.
it was awesome, man. And then, like, we became lifelong friends. We're still friends to this day. And but he was the bass player. We knew one guy that I'd kind of met before, Josh Landry, who goes. Oh my God, I'm blanking on he's got like an artist name now, which I'm like, ooh, probably had to look that up, but we'll figure it out. But he's got a lot of great stuff out there. He's been producing and doing things kind of more on the progressive metal side. But he was like there for a year because he was a little bit older. He sat in on drums. But what was really cool, well, what was really funny is so during that time, Rock Band. When you think of,
I love Rock Band. I was gonna tell you. You know, I started my own rock band, right?
did you now?
Yeah, of course. I'm a professional drummer in Rock Band too. And living on a prayer.
Living on a prayer.
Living on a prayer was my favorite song to go to and play. Listen to me. I could have taught you a thing or two back in the day,
Brother, I'd be down for it. But that's the funny part is during that time, Rock Band the game was super huge, and so we had about 2 or 3 kids show up with the Rock Band guitars. They're like, "Where's the Xbox?" I'm like, "No."
Wait, no, are you serious?
I swear. Like, these kids showed up and they're like, "I thought this was like a Rock Band club for like the video game." It's like, nope.
Yeah, that's one of the best things I've heard all week, man. That's so good.
I mean,
I could just imagine.
and I don't blame him. It was like, it's like I didn't think about the what else has like this title of a rock band.
Yeah.
You hear the click, 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 like all that stuff. So I mean, those kids eventually kind of faded out. But
On a scale of 1 to 10, how realistic is Rock Band to a real rock band? Oh no, it's not even close.
let's start with the drums. If you're doing expert on drums, it gets pretty close because you have to be on beat, like a and
you have to use the pedal.
The bass drum pedal and all that. Like that's kind of close. The guitar parts, no.
Yeah, because of the little
The flipper thing, it's supposed to mimic, because like most people are right-handed. They strum with their right and like they do the chords with their left.
Okay.
Which I always thought was really interesting because like I'm right-handed mostly. Like I mean like I'm doing all the writing and stuff. I feel a lot more like this is definitely my dominant hand.
Yeah.
But this is the hand that does all the chords and the
It's
scales.
weird. I'll feel comfortable with that too. Yeah.
Like I was thinking, okay, this would be the dumb hand that just strums, and then my right hand that I use for everything else. But for some reason, it never translated.
Yeah.
And so it's like left brain, right brain, whatever it is. Feel free to comment if you have some kind of neurologic degree that can explain it, because I don't get it.
Yeah. Actually, that's a good question. Why is it that happens that way?
There's got to be a reason.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, like it's as close as you can get without having, you got I think 6 buttons or something like that. Like at least I think it's got you 6 buttons. That's your 6 strings, but since they're not like up and down, they're just up, forward, up and down the neck.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a good mimic of like what it is to like kind of play the guitar and the drums.
Okay.
But like when you play guitar, you kind of get that ear for music. And so you're like, all right, this is 1, 3, 5, which are like the intervals of chords. Like you're like, oh, I can kind of hear it. And so you'll start trying to do stuff like you're like, oh, it's not real. It's not real. So you can't do it exactly like a real guitar.
Right.
So you start moving around and doing things like that. And it's close. That's the best way. It's like maybe I'm going to get, no matter what number I say, musicians are like, that's BS, dude. It's not even close. Or like someone's like, it's actually pretty close. But I'd say it's probably like half.
So about a 4 or 5.
It's halfway there.
You want to know a funny story about
Tell
Living on
me.
a Prayer? So you remember when I played against Berkmark. So some of the people that are listening, you guys remember this. And if you don't know, so I transferred to Brookwood, and our senior year we played Berkmark, which was my former school, at home. It's funny because you create such a rivalry, and when I went to Brookwood, I was like, fuck, man, like I don't want to go there. Like, I hate you guys. You know what I mean? Because you build this mentality.
Yeah, it's like, man, screw those guys from over the way, like on that side of town.
They're so good all the time. Like, we suck. And, I was like, whatever. But so when I went to Brookwood, we went to Berkmar. It was the last.
It was their homecoming game, I think. Did we play?
Definitely not homecoming,
No,
because they wouldn't put us in homecoming.
Yeah,
There's no way. That's not smart.
Oh, no, I think it was senior night, maybe. Because I remember there
their
was
senior night.
That's what
was
it
their
was.
senior night.
because I remember there was some kind of halftime thing but it was so
Yeah, it was their senior night. I remember. And actually, the locker room we went to, that was our freshman locker room when I was there. So yeah, we went to the freshman locker. Yeah. So I remember I was like, but anyway, so I scored the touchdown on the fumble recovery. I scored the touchdown, and I'm like, I can't believe it. You know, I'm over here, you know, crazy. And I see my ex coach. Shout out to Coach Elmore, by the way, man. Always, I miss my homie. And I hug him, and I started just crying, bro, because it's very emotional. Because I was like, I was supposed to, you know, supposed to be doing that with the boys here, but you know, it's just very emotional. And I'm crying, and on the way back to school on the bus, I'm listening to like "Living on a Prayer," bro, because that was my go-to song every time. When we played Parkview, they played "Living on a Prayer," and I was like, "You guys fucked up." I was like, "We're not losing today."
dude. My memory of that and you, it's like you were talking about it the whole week, and you were like kind of making it.
The whole week was about about.
It's like, dude, if we don't get Carlos some action in this game, and we don't let them show how they missed out, they couldn't keep you. You know, it's like. Because we're like, how was the morale around the team and stuff? Was it were they supportive? Was it a healthy team? Like everyone was going
At Berkmar?
Yeah.
Well, so unfortunately, dude, culture matters, and there was a lot of selfishness that was used to go in the teams. I believe when we played in 2008, I was a sophomore. I was in the varsity, but obviously I wasn't getting any playing time.
Yeah.
And we had an amazing squad, bro. I think Brookwood that year we lost 10-0. It wasn't a big. We didn't get whooped. It was like an actual really good game. And to be honest, we got 10-3. I don't remember what it was.
It was a close one.
It was a close one. We could have actually won that game, I remember. But one of our receivers dropped a touchdown. Oof. So, anyways, it's just a lot of selfishness that goes on, and people don't buy in. I remember when I went to Brookwood, it was such a culture. For example, we had our own weight training class for football players. At Berkmar, we didn't. We're all mixed. And there's a big difference between football weight training and regular weight training. Where sometimes you go play basketball, sometimes you just But at Brookwood, I was like, dang, every day is a grind. You have to be here. You know what I'm saying?
Hell yeah.
Yeah. So that was important. And then I feel like, a lot of kids were just, just about them. They didn't buy into the program, even though I felt like we had an amazing coach. And the coach that was coaching me when I left Berkmar, he actually made it to the state championship game. Yeah. And he went to go see the game, and he was like, Carlos, he pulled me to the side, and I was like, holy crap.
You're here.
You're here.
Yeah.
I was like, that's how I knew. I already knew he was a good coach, but then the fact that he made it there and he remembered me,
that's just a good man.
Yeah, that's a really good man. And Coach Thompson, I always remember that from him. So I think it was a culture thing, man. They didn't buy in. We had players that played, D1. I mean, I think our that same year, I think 10 kids got scholarships.
Yeah, so it was it was a lot of athletes, but not a team kind of thing.
100%. Yeah, because we had great athletes, but the program that Brookwood has is for a reason. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. Because I just remember that whole week running up to it. You were like, guys, you don't understand what I'm about to do this week. I'm about to prove to them, all this stuff, all the doubt I'm going to. And then when you had that recover for a touchdown, all of us were like, Carlos.
Yeah.
Just the amount of excitement that we had for you. We were you were one of the nicer guys to me as a sophomore, that got pulled on varsity because I was scared. Our buddy Adam that played on the team too. Me and him both got pulled up with a couple other guys, and we all had that little that.
Shout out to you guys, man,
dude.
You were a sophomore. You were one of two.
I think it was Adam, Sean, Jamal, and me.
4.
Yeah, I think there was 4.
Was there somebody else? I think it was 4 of you guys that were sophomores playing on varsity.
Yeah, because they all went, did great, in the whole high school career. A lot of, I want to say I'm the only one that didn't really go D1. I was just strong. I wasn't tall.
But you were good, man. You were so good, dude.
I just, you know how it is. It's you get that mindset of hey, I'm here. I'm going to make it worth my time.
Right.
So, but dude, just seeing you run that back, and then just the amount of love that you still had for your team. And then once you came in, it was just, it's that's those high school,
you never forget that.
Yeah. That's the thing. I wasn't too worried about playing college ball because a lot of people play college ball, and especially nowadays it's become its own business. So it's
right.
transfer portal, all that stuff, and I get it. Go get your money. You got to think
what you have to do.
Yeah. You got to do what you got to do, man. But high school football, It's
It's
definitely
special, man.
It's so special. You get 4 years,
Yeah.
unless you fail a grade or two. But
You might get a little bit extra.
the super senior in high school is not the same as it is in college.
Yeah, facts.
Yeah, there's no Stetson Bennett's in the high school football.
That's a good example
Oh
too.
my god! But yeah, dude, it's just one of those things. And like for me, I think it did kind of hurt me a little bit, and I don't think it's the coach's fault. Like because I told them that they all asked like, so what kind of do you want to go play in college? And
Yeah.
I told them straight up, no, I don't. Like I am 5'11", and that's with the 2-inch cleats on. That you like. I mean, it is. I get it. Like I could. Well, do you want to go play D2 or something? I was like, and all the seniors that came back and kind of would come and talk to us about the college experiences. They're like, it's a full-time job in college.
Yeah.
Because you know, especially if you go to any kind of D1 school, it's God knows what it is nowadays. But I mean, it's just like they're putting hundreds of thousands probably over like your career, like probably more. So you're signing a like $100,000 contract to go to play at a college.
Yeah.
They're going to get every penny.
They're gonna get every penny out of you for sure, man.
So I mean, looking at the road and knowing how much I love music, I was like, that's just not in the cards.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I'm going to play 4 years of high school ball with everything I got.
Yeah, man. And like I mentioned to you last time, like I think high school is special because you don't get recruited to play for that school. You know, you either living there. Some people do transfer because they want to go. Like for example, I transferred to go to a better school, but not to really play for the football team because I was like, I don't think I have a shot.
Yeah.
Because you guys were just a bunch of monsters. I mean, Jesus. And just in that route, like that sense, I was like, but it's a bond that you create. And I think that year it was pretty cool. And like you said, I was really nice to I was nice to everybody.
You were nice to everybody.
Yeah. I think that's the way I led though. Like I led by just, my personality. I wasn't much of I was loud or I was, getting mad at everybody. I had respect for everybody. And I think, what's funny, I was like a lot of underclassmen's favorite senior because I was never a douchebag to them.
Yeah, you were never a jerk.
Yeah.
You're like, hey, man, that's probably not a good idea. If you want to actually like play, you probably shouldn't do that. Maybe you should pick up some freaking weight, You were always like super encouraging. And then when we would play, like, because sophomore year I was on the gold team a lot.
Yeah.
Which shout out to my gold squad.
gold team.
Gold team makes everybody better.
Yeah.
Like I do believe that's the thing is in any football sense as your gold squad, which if you're not familiar with the term, it's just the guys that are practice squad guys.
Practice squads.
The team with the best practice squad is going to win.
Yeah.
Because if you have a absolutely monster like practice squad, and that means there's so many people that are starting that are so much better. Like like Cameron Lynch was one guy that you remember.
Man,
oh my
man was different.
That can I just say that one time I was playing guard and I was supposed to do a rub block up to him as like the linebacker. Ladies and gentlemen, I was 250 pounds of like I would say solid back then. I'm a little more
solid
marble.
mass.
I was a man. I was a full grown man at that time. He's watching the play, and I'm like, oh, I got him. He's not even looking at me, and he just picked me up. Said, no, you're gonna go right here. Like just absolutely just lat raised me and set me down on the ground behind him, and I just am looking up at the sky. And then coach comes in and was like, why didn't you block the linebacker? I was like, he picked me up, coach. He picked me up and moved me. I was running full speed and he's like, it was like out of an anime where just some guy's like, that's some nice hockey you got there, like some jutsu or whatever anime you're listening to. He just absolutely just beep. And I was just like, there's nothing coach, explain to me how I could have done better on that play. Like, should I have tried to knock his hand that had my entire chest pad like in his grasp? Like, the guy went and played for Syracuse and had a phenomenal career.
He went to the NFL.
He went to the NFL.
Yeah.
Christ. Like, I was like, dude, what am I supposed to coach me? Coach me. Show me how that was supposed to go. I mean, that was just
that was amazing. That's a great story.
Like, I mean, and there's that's the thing about it is like, like you just have to you have to go up against people that are better than you and the gold squad and everything like that. And like having you as a guy that's like, hey man, I'm in here like, coming into the school and stuff, having to prove yourself too. You were like, I don't want to say like, I don't want to diminish, like, you were obviously a superstar in your own right. Like came back from him and injuries. You hustled through it all. Because that's the thing, people come back from injuries, not only have to heal up their injuries, but they have to keep everything else rotating too into like, hey, if I can't do legs, I got to work my arms out. If I'm doing rehab on my ankle, I got to do everything else with my other leg.
Yep.
So there's like a whole other methodology. And so like I respect any player that comes back from injury and comes back just as strong because the team's supposed to get better as the season goes along.
Yeah.
So to keep up with that progress, man.
No, I appreciate that, man. And to be honest, throughout the, not to get too mixy into it, but I remember Coach Moore, when I was, before my hip injury, he was like, man, if you keep going, I'm gonna find a spot for you. And I was like, hey, don't tell me that, coach, because you're getting my hopes up. Like, imagine me playing, getting a lot of playing time for Brookwood. I was like, yo, this is wild. I broke my hip, but eventually I came back and I kept playing the same way and I kept, doing my own thing. And shout out to Coach Moore because he's the one that really found a spot for me because the DN spots were taken already. I was a little bit smaller, but when we found a way where I could pass rush and, put me into the game, that's how he found me. And I was like, shout out to him because he found a spot right for me. And that was where I made,
made those tackles, made that bread and butter, baby.
Made the bread, baby.
But yeah, but that's the thing. It's like special about like those 4 years, and then I think it's really critical, especially because I think with Burtmar, didn't you? How many head coaches did they have in that time?
Man, no.
Was it kind of like
we switched one time in the 2 years I was there, so we had two, and then after that they just kept going back and forth.
Yeah, because that was the thing. Is like I kind of felt like you got to have a solid base, and I think that does start with like the little leagues.
Yeah,
like
that's true though. See, you guys have a whole system. Like the people that you play with, in Brookwood, some of these guys knew each other since they were like 10.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I came into a whole family basically, trying to make myself way in. Other people, I don't think it was just like that.
Yeah. And it's, I don't know. I feel like it is a good measure of the community. And that's why a lot of people, and this goes for like all different types of sports, because not every community is a football community.
Right.
If it's a baseball community, if it's a soccer community, or football, don't want to offend anybody.
Football.
Yeah, just trying to be inclusive. But it's just like, if that's your sport, or like basketball, just to round out all the sports that are pretty big in the high school arena. It's like if you have a program that feeds into those schools, it makes a stronger community. It makes better programs, and better programs give opportunities to those kids. So, if your family is hustling as hard as they can, but the idea of going to like a really top-notch school or being the first person in your family to get out and go to like a college, like it's something that I feel like you really do have to cultivate.
Right.
And, I was fortunate, I moved into the Brookwood district around like middle school and stuff. And kind of the same reason, I think your parents did. There's like, hey, my parents graduated from Burtmar. Like,
wow.
Yeah.
I heard Berkmar was back in the day was what Brookwood became.
Yeah.
Basically, that's what I heard from somebody that actually went to Berkmar back in the day, like years ago.
And it could be just because, there was just less high schools. Could the idea of having a 900 plus like graduating class,
crazy.
Like that was like, no, that's a college over there.
Yeah.
Like
that's wild. We had like 1,000 kids graduating.
Which God bless all the parents sitting through that. Oh, man. Especially if your kid's last name was Z something.
Z with the Z. That's why, yeah.
Like someone that's named like Thomas Zachary.
All the joy was out already. It's like, when we go home, let's go eat.
Yeah, it's like, man, I tell you, but it's just like that's a huge part of it. But like those kind of communities, and I feel like it's starting to come back a little bit. People are recognizing that, especially in like the Gwinnett area where I grew up around. Like, I went back to one of the games and I heard some of the gripes about the little leagues now and how like, and of course, like there was a whole CTE scare with the NFL.
True. Yeah.
A lot of people are like, hey, I don't want to risk my kid for recreational purposes. Like he's just having fun.
Yeah.
I don't want to risk him having like long-term brain injuries. Cause I don't know. I feel like once you get to high school, that's when you have enough, like there's some big old kids. You remember DJ?
Man. Wait, DJ who?
Wingate?
I think he was your class.
Yeah,
I don't think he was. I don't think he was.
He was one of those guys that came over to. He was just a massive, kind-hearted human being, but he was that guy that we joked around and called him the fridge because when it was fourth and like third down, and we're like, we've tried. It's been fourth. We got fourth and first. It's fourth and third, and we just go, DJ, get your big 300 plus eighth grade ass in here and run this ball in. And by God, he did it. Like.
Yo, are eighth graders allowed to play in high school football? No, right? Is that a thing?
No. At best, you would be a freshman that finishes your freshman season, and then there's usually a couple games left,
Oh,
and then you might
okay.
get pulled up because I think our running back Jamal got pulled up for that year. Like that was kind of the cool thing. Like, dude, he got pulled up as a freshman.
Bro, you know Jamal Cole, right?
Coley.
Yeah, no, Cole, I like that. We even him and his brother, we go back because we grew up really close. We go way back. We were
Yeah.
playing football since we were like 12, 13, you know what I mean? Like street football. So,
Yeah.
yeah. He was, what an athlete, man.
Oh yeah, dude. And he's doing music and stuff now, I believe too. It's like it's hard to keep up with everybody, but I
Yeah.
hope he's doing well, man. I ran into him one of the gigs a while back, and he seemed like he was hanging in there.
Yeah,
He's
man.
doing his thing.
Yeah, I know he's been through some stuff. I was gonna tell you, one of the biggest compliments that I got, and I know we're talking about high school football like that, like
We didn't peak for anyone. We didn't peak in high school.
We didn't peak. It's just one of the biggest compliments that I ever got in football was you remember Michael, right? Gouge, our tight end.
Googe.
Googe.
Yeah,
Googe.
Just kidding, buddy.
So one time, I think we were like in the state playoffs, and I don't remember what round it was. And we talked after our hype session. Remember, we used to watch like a film before we went out to eat. Whatever.
A highlight film.
A highlight film of just football.
Usually Ray Lewis.
Yeah, somebody we would watch somebody. And he was like, "Hey, man," he was like, "You are the second best like defensive player I've ever gone against." And I was like, "Hold up, second?" I was like, "First of all, I'm proud." I'm like,
Thanks.
It's Hulk Gwinnett we're playing against, you know." But then he was like, "Yeah." He was. I was like, "Who's the first?" He was like, "What's his name? Nikem Digi."
Oh, Robert. Yeah.
Robert Nikem Digi. And I was like, "I mean, well,
he's
good enough for me." You know what I mean? I was like, the guy was the best player in America his senior year.
Oh, dude. Going into like the computer labs and you open up the web browser back then. I think it was like Internet Explorer or whatever, and then or like it might have been Yahoo. And you're going, and as a guy he's the same age as me, and we're playing him that year, the year the video came out.
Brookwood, where you at? That was I still get shit for that.
Oh, dude, same.
Brookwood, where you at is literally, if you live in Ron Gwinnett and you went to Brookwood, everybody knows.
They know where
they'll
we're
sing that
at.
to you every single time.
They know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would go into the computer lab and then it's like Clemson signs, number one. I'm like, I mean, okay, let's see what happens. But it's like, yeah, that kind of stuff, man. Like, it's just the thing about like getting like a compliment like that and like the culture that goes around it.
Yeah.
Like it sets people up for their whole life.
Yeah, I think it was amazing, man. I think it's one of the biggest compliments I ever got because I was like, he's our tight end, and he's obviously blocking him, every now and then because he's our tight end. And we've had played them at the, he was a sophomore though, but still, I was like, yo, if you're, if you think I'm better than, not better, but if you think I'm the second best and you think I'm in the mix, I'm like, hey, bro, because I used to play gold team too.
Yeah,
I never got. Even though I was starting some games, I was like, I never got off gold team. I love gold team. Dude. They had to pull me out. They literally had to pull me out. I was like, yo, you're playing this. We get your ass out of gold team, homie.
Oh yeah, dude. My senior year, Coach Jones, I snuck in one time and I was just like, hey, give me your jersey. He's like, what? I was like, I'm captain, which I was just like, I threw that around as like a joke because I was like, I'm not better than you guys. I need you.
Yeah.
But I was like, I'm captain. Give me your jersey. He's like, is that a rule? I was like, it is now. And it's like I put on the gold shirt and everything, and it's kind of like snuck in there. And then they're like, all right, we're running this play. And then like was it Coach Young, I think, or it was Coach Katz? One of the coaches was running the gold team. He like looks up and goes, all right, cool. And like just was like, what? I mean, all right, this works for us because I was trying to like really make sure like we kept like the pace on us like as a senior and stuff, and I wanted to try to lead by example. The only thing that happened was I played 2 plays. Coach Jones comes in there and just like rips me by my face, man. I was like, "What are you doing?" It's
like Jones, man,
bro. I mean,
Jonas.
He was a great man, and it's just like that kind of stuff. Like it is what it is. But I mean, dude, that's the thing.
Yeah.
When we were playing against these guys coming up, like both in your class and mine, like there's these people in the I feel like every state's got their like kind of like
that
one group of like
county.
schools.
Yeah. I told because my sister played for Brookwood soccer, so I told her, I was like, even if you're not getting a lot of playing time, because she didn't grow up really playing soccer, she started getting into like the high school days, but she made the team, and I was like, even though you're not getting a lot of playing time, I was like, you should be proud because like I don't think you understand the amount of athletes that are in Gwinnett. You know what I mean? Like good athletes. Like
you're in a select group.
You're correct, and I was like, be proud because I don't think you understand I mean, I think at one point, I don't know if it's still the case, but like Gwinnett County was like called the SEC of the South because like the amount of
D1 5
D1,
star.
exactly, man. Like,
Yeah.
I was like, yo. So be proud, man. If you play in Gwinnett, be proud because you're playing against a lot of really, really talented kids.
Yeah.
Really, really talented kids. And I told them my brother actually played for Brookwood last year. He played goalie. And even though he didn't start, I was like, listen, be proud, bro.
Work hard.
You keep going, but be proud of the fact that you're going against a lot of athletes and, you know, at least you have a chance. You always have a chance.
Well, you know what's also really cool too, and I think this is something that also helped me kind of really feel like I could do a lot in music. Was we had a music tech program in Grayson Tech and a couple of the other people like schools.
It's dope.
Like, and it's really nice because it's like, and especially in Atlanta, like in the last I'd say probably like in the last 10 years, Atlanta's become like the Hollywood of the South, for better or for worse.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd say it's more on the worst sometimes, but you know that's just old man mentality. Like,
I did extra in movies, so I love it.
yeah, dude, it's booming, and like you wouldn't, and like I don't know if you felt like that kind of sentiment from people growing up, and like, oh, what are you gonna do after you graduate? It's like I'm getting out of Georgia. I hate it here.
Yeah, everybody said that, man.
And I was like, why? What do you want? We have coastlines, we got mountains, we got farmland.
Florida's down there too. It's not too far, you know.
Yeah, and I mean, dude, you can go to
beaches?
Carolina's like two hours away, so you can go to like Charlotte, Charleston. Like it's like I've heard it be called the Jewel of the South. It's just because
Atlanta. I love Atlanta and what it became. To be honest, well, not with the traffic and everything overpriced.
It's got its ups and downs.
Yeah.
I mean, I was hearing some chatter this week about there was some dude that came to Atlanta and got like horrible service at one of the 5-star restaurants.
Oh, Keith Lee. You talking about
Yes.
Yeah. Atlanta was getting ran through, bro. Like. Because he was basically exposing what the Atlanta services are like in customer service, which I think is good. It will only help,
Yeah, I mean, I was just like, welcome to the Atlanta where the players play, man.
Yeah,
like
facts.
It's like we got Southern. Well, I'll say this. It's like people will say like, I'm from Atlanta. It's like, well, you grew up in Gwinnett. It's like, yeah, but you don't know Gwinnett.
It's the same.
It's it's like if I say, oh, I grew up in Little Burn or like Lawrenceville or like any of the like the Gwinnett like cities, you're like, where's that? It's like Atlanta. It's like you're just going to say I'm from Atlanta. But I do think there's now kind of grown into this like either like if you're outside of the perimeter, and that's really the line. Is like the 285 perimeter. If you live inside the perimeter, I think that's a fair thing to say you're from Atlanta.
Yep.
If you live outside of it, you're from Georgia.
You're from Georgia or South Georgia.
Or South Georgia. Oh my God! But yeah, what were we saying earlier? It was.
I was gonna ask you. Do you know? I wonder what the wings at Magic City taste like. Every athlete or like player that plays goes to try the wings at Magic City. And I've always questioned, like, are they that good or
Well, I've heard of RJ Crickets. That's like the lemon pepper spot. Like, like that.
Do you like lemon pepper wings?
I
think they're mid. I think they're mid.
I'm not saying if you're putting out a platter for like a football party or like some kind of a get together, I think lemon pepper it needs to be a staple.
You need to have them in the mix, is what you're saying.
But I mean, you need to have something that makes you kind of go, ooh, those are hot. Like you need it like anybody, like hot is where it's at. I'll say the only thing that's better than hot is hot teriyaki.
I love teriyaki itself.
Yes.
But I feel like lemon pepper wings are
it's like okay, it's just like this is base.
Yeah,
it's just this is default. Like
yeah, like I don't know, man. Something about it just I don't understand what's so good about it. Maybe I'm missing out, but it's just not my thing.
I mean, yeah, I get it. It's like some people just like that lemony, zesty stuff, and I mean. If you get some nice and like crispy on like skin, some juicy on the inside wings, like I love wings, man. Are you a flats guy or a drums guy?
I think I'm a both. I just don't like you're chilling.
Do not discriminate. Flats and drums have a place in this world.
Amen.
And you know what? Don't complain when you ask, "Can I get all flats?" Yeah, okay, there's an upcharge. Really? Yes, yes.
I just don't like the oversized one where they're just so big. I'm like, yo, this chicken looks like it got some steroids or something. You know what I mean?
I mean, what do you think we're eating in the schools? Is it?
Oh shit!
But I mean,
hey,
there is a methodology behind it. Like you need that not jumbo size wing that looks like a turkey leg because I feel like you can't.
It doesn't hit the same, bro.
It doesn't hit the same.
It doesn't hit the same
because I feel like once you get it on the drum, it's too much meat. It's not cooked right.
Yeah.
And then if you get the oh dude, there was this tiny place that I got wings from, and they look like baby wings. Like I was just
Okay,
like,
see, I hate those
like
too.
it's like my pinky is bigger than this drumstick, sir. Like,
Yeah.
where are these preemie chickens? Like, did you just like did they hatch and then you threw them in the fryer? Like, this is not a chicken wing. This is a
this bone.
this is bone with like some skin on
Skin
it.
on it.
Like because I mean, dude, I don't know. I feel like flats. You have to have flats because like you need something. The drumsticks give you more meat,
Yes.
but the flats, you crack that little bone in the middle, pull out the one bone, stir it up in your sauce, get it out there.
Get out. It just hits different. A little texture, a little difference. I like. You gotta have that. You
gotta have the variety too.
Right, yeah, I like that.
That's the thing. It's like,
Wait, are you? Wait, okay. Another important question.
Oh, boy.
Are you a ranch or a blue cheese? Only one right answer, and if not, we're ending the podcast right now.
you gotta have blue cheese
Okay, thank you guys for watching and listening. I appreciate you because that's not
with hot wings. You gotta get blue cheese. Anything else, I feel like you can go ranch.
Wait, why?
I don't know. It got to be like some flavor palette thing because I will if I get like because I usually try to get like if the place has like 12 or 18 wings or whatever the deal is.
Okay.
Like 12 wings, I'll get 6 hot, 6 something else. That's a little bit maybe something else just to try like a barbecue flavor or something.
I love that. Okay.
Yeah, it's like you just I'm a variety guy. I love a little bit of everything, but you gotta have blue cheese with the hot, and then if you get any other flavor, I feel like it's only acceptable to have ranch.
You know, I knew there was something wrong with you. Like, I knew there was like something off about you.
I'm just saying, like,
I respect that, man.
I totally get like you need to definitely have ranch. I don't think you should serve or should charge for extra sauce. Like maybe after the 5th or 6th like
Right.
thing, if you get like 20 wings and you get 2 things of ranch, like I'm like, man,
Yeah, no, that's kind of sad. Actually, you need for at least 20 wings. You only a little like 5 of them at least.
at least because you're gonna be like, I'm
I'm a condiments guy, so I really make sure that it's wet. The wings and
Make 'em swim.
and you know what I'm saying?
Oh,
Like
yeah.
make sure it's really wet. I could get just a lot, and keep going. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
you gotta get.
Well, and that's the other thing too is like I actually learned this trick. This sounds so gluttonous, but you ever seen the Man versus Food?
Is that where like you?
He goes and tries like food challenges.
Yeah.
Not just like like see if you can eat spice, but it's like, oh, we have a 30-pound steak. Do you think you can eat it in an hour?
Ugh.
Yeah. I mean, it was impressive when he did, but it's just like the one thing he would do is he would get some fries. It's because the thing is like you just have a little bit of fries.
All right.
The saltiness does something to your taste buds and your the hormones that tell your brain and its stomach that it's full. It's like, oh, we have some more food. We have something else to eat now. Because dude, you get just if you can get I always get a basket of fries to share because I don't want to eat all the fries. But if they got 18 wings, I'm eating 18 wings. Like,
I respect that.
Like Mama didn't raise a quitter, so we gonna get it all.
We gotta get it in. Yes,
Unless
sir.
you got that toaster oven that you can't microwave. I don't believe in microwaving wings to warm them up.
So you will toast them up.
Toast them up, get them like a nice little heater, pop them in the oven for a little bit. Maybe it's a little extra. It is what it is. But it's like if I got 18 wings or if like there's like a big platter, like you're out with some boys and like either there's still like 8-10 wings left over of like assorted flavors. It's like I'm gonna scoop those up and I'm gonna throw them in the toaster oven, get them back. That's my lunch tomorrow. Like I'm frugal in that way.
I love the fact that we're talking about food because I know Thanksgiving's coming up, and then on top of that, I'm like, I don't think we've had a food section yet of my podcast. So I love that, man.
Stuffing. What's your taking on stuffing?
I like it, but not by itself. I need it with the mixture of foods.
Okay.
I'll eat it. It's not the greatest thing. I think it's good.
Understandable.
Yeah, it's you hate it?
No, I love it.
You love it?
Stuffing and dressing, which there's a difference. I don't know what it is, but everyone says you want some stuffing, you want some dressing.
Wait, what is? Well, I thought it was. What am I talking about then?
The little bready looking stuff.
That's what is that?
I'm pretty sure
That's dressing. No,
that's dressing.
so I like that.
Yeah, and then there's also like the stuffing, which is like another kind of dish that's made either with a different type of bread or some other ingredients. Because it's like growing up my whole life in the South, you want some dressing stuff, and I'm like, but I've never. It's like it's always been 2 different dishes.
I got a question. So do you? I think this is like an American thing. Like you guys celebrate. Well, we all celebrate Thanksgiving, but like you do it at noon, right, or like at 2? See, we are used to doing it at night. So I was talking to.
That's more of a Christmas thing.
When I was, the night thing?
Eating the dinner later in the night.
Okay.
Yeah, that's like at least in my family, like we did like Thanksgiving, and I feel like this is mostly because of American corporate football.
Football. I was gonna say that. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean it's a Thursday. It's like if you have that day off from work, which I to all the retail workers out there, God bless you. We need you. We love you. We respect. Well, I respect you. I've been where you've been, and I know people out there are horrible because people be people in, and it's awful.
Facts. No burner.
Yeah, it's just like it is what it is, but it's like it is weird when you point it out because it's like every other big meal or every other big celebration.
Yeah.
You eat like after 5 o'clock.
Like dinner vibes.
Yeah, supper, dinner. There's another southern difference. Supper's earlier, dinner's later. And then there's it's like get in here for supper. It's like all right, but what's for dinner?
Wait, so supper? What time would that be around?
That's like supper's around like closer like or before 5 in my upbringing.
And dinner would be after.
Like that's the evening. It's like all right, this is like the slow cooker that's been cooking for 8 hours.
Oh.
You have the supper that might be a little bit something else that you might have baked, and then you got this like the brisket and stuff like that. Like you seen the Lord of the Rings?
No.
Okay, there's the most southern part of that movie was Merry and Pippin are complaining to Aragorn as they're traveling together. It's like he's like, we need to stop for breakfast. He's like, you've already had breakfast. It's like, what about second breakfast? 11sies, lunch, supper, dinner. And it's like, I remember someone told me about that. That's when I learned about there's a difference for supper and dinner.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I thought it was the same thing.
I mean, it was back when we would actually work and do like, labor and stuff and have like farms and like animals to tend to. So you were working all day.
Oh,
and that was kind of the methodology behind it. And that's why
that's understandable.
And that's why a lot of people are so fat nowadays, is because we have the same mentality or traditions.
But we don't do the
same.
We
don't do half
as
much. But I mean, like Thanksgiving, dude, like moving aside from like the whole Native American like settlers thing, all that, y'all can argue about that all you want.
Yeah.
I'm here for the food.
I'm here for the food. We're all here for the food and the family vibes.
Yeah, the family vibes, because oh my God, that's the best part, I think, nowadays, because I think you and me both kind of fall in that, like, hey, man, you take everything with a nuance, like a perspective. Like, you don't just, like, get swayed one side or the other because you've subscribed to the left or the right.
Right.
It's like, and especially with family, I feel like you should be able to sit down and over a bunch of really good food, like, and the turkey is the key point. Because you can't have dry turkey.
So you are a turkey guy.
I love turkey.
I'm a ham guy.
Dude.
The sweet ham, the
honey
ham.
bake.
Oh, bro. Dude. That, to me, with that Hawaiian bread.
Oh, buddy.
I'm locked. That's it for me.
Do you do the Hawaiian bread ham sliders?
Oh, no, we don't do that.
Well,
there's actually a slider. Oh, that's different.
Yeah.
So I might tell my mom to make that because I already picture it.
Oh, so you take that little tin pan.
Okay. You cut them.
You cut them in half.
Yep.
And then you butter them up. You put the cheese and the ham in there. And then you pop it back in the oven for just a little bit so it's nice and toasty.
That's different.
You'll never be a skinny man again.
Damn. That sounds delicious.
Yeah. So I mean, like, and then oh my God, dude, there's so much that like the only thing is I don't get the cranberry sauce. Like the
sweet one?
The gelatinous thing.
You don't like that?
Never hit for me.
You know what's crazy? The only reason I'm able to relate to that is because I used to go to like my friend's house after like Thanksgiving football to go eat, and like I was able to like try and taste it, because at home we don't do most of like the other, like we do the turkey and the dressing that we're talking about, but we don't do everything. So that but keep going, like that. I feel like that's the only reason I'm able to relate, or else I wouldn't even have like knowledge of this like that.
Yeah, the cranberry sauce stuff is the equivalent of, for Thanksgiving. It is the Thanksgiving's fruit cake, like that you get for Christmas. Yeah, like it's just like, I mean, yeah, it's traditional, but some people like it. Some people are like me. They're just like, I could live my whole life without it. It's like it's not. I'm not going to be missing it. But I mean, you got to have I prefer a baked turkey over like the fried turkey.
Okay.
Mostly for safety. Because
Respect that.
Always those videos that come around about the people frying a turkey and just, oh my God, the trailer blew up. And it's like, well,
you put a frozen ass turkey in boiling water.
What do you think was going to happen? I mean, and it's like no matter how many people see it, it still happens. It's like the 4th of July and fireworks. That there's always someone that loses a finger on fireworks.
Yeah, that is true. 4th of July, facts. Okay, so staying on the food topic, what are your top 3 for Thanksgiving and what can go? Like what is in the lineup and what's in the bench?
Okay, starting line.
All right, let me hear it.
You got turkey, honey baked ham. That's your goat. You have to have a honey baked ham and a nice baked turkey that's
Okay.
juicy.
Respectable.
If it's not juicy, then it's like a second string quarterback. It's like it might get some playing time, but it's because your first string got hurt.
Got you.
You got to have like
I like that analogy, by the way.
you got the stuffing and the dressing kind of controversy of like, which is which. It's like, I don't care. It's all good. I'm going to eat it. The other part that some people fight over is the corners of the mac and cheese. Are you a corner piece guy or are you like a center guy?
I think I might be a corner. I like a little,
Just that little burn in.
yeah, a little burn, a little, toasty little. I think I'll be a corner
Just something
guy.
with some texture.
Yeah, I feel you know what I mean?
So it's like, that's definitely like, that's my third. You got to have a solid baked mac and cheese. And I'll shout out to one of the people in my life that helped me learn a lot about cooking. She showed me the hack where you kind of half boil the noodles.
Okay.
So you don't finish boiling the noodles in the pot. But when they're about like half or like a quarter, like there's a quarter left on the timer, you drain them, you put them in the pan, you mix up all the stuff, and then you pop it in the oven so they finish cooking in the oven.
Oh,
Yeah. She turned me on to some game.
that's science.
Yeah. So you got to have the mac and cheese. It's got to be great. It's got to be perfect. Noodles, macaroni noodles are fine. I mean, you could use like some of the other like new age stuff where they have like the panini.
Penne.
Yeah,
Penne. Whatever it's called. Some.
Come at me. But like, it's like you could do something like that. But and this is one that people kind of forget about, but you need to have like actual mashed potatoes.
I love mashed potatoes.
Like
That's that.
Instant won't. I'm sorry, guys. Like, if you love me, you're not gonna give me instant potatoes. It's like if you want to tell me you love me, tell me that you went, peeled some potatoes, mashed them up. I mean, dude, my great grandmother was the one that really instilled all these foods because that was the spot we would go to, and I call it Useless, Florida, but it's called Eustis, Florida, because it's in the middle. There's lakes and alligators and everything there, but we'd go there. And the whole family would just converge on this one tiny little ranch home. My grandparents, my uncle, and my aunt, they both had RVs. And then we came down and just the whole tribe came down. And like we just ascended on this small little like tiny home and just absolutely went crazy for the entire Thanksgiving week. But I mean, my great grandmother at 98 years old. Oh, no, she passed away at 98. No, yeah, she was.
Wow, that's a long life, man.
Bro.
That's a blessing.
And the best part was she might have been deaf as a doorknob, but she was all there. So she'd talk to you, and you'd be like, whoa, this is awesome.
You still got it.
You still there. And then you'd say something to her, and she just, so anyway, and it was like, go on another thing, and it's just like, love her to death. Like Mama Liz, oh my God. Mama Liz and Pop, like that's as we called them. They were absolutely just angels. And like, she would just get out there, and the best part was you saw this tiny, like if she was standing right here right now, she'd be like maybe as tall as we are sitting.
Oh, that's sweet.
But then the scary part was that she'd pull out the turkey or like get me or someone to pull out the turkey, especially in her older age years. And then she'd get out this old like 1970s like carver, like little machine like knife that and she'd just start hacking it and just going in and like there's like, she cut it up right. But I mean, and then she would like mash the potatoes. I remember that was the cool thing. She'd always mash those up with a fork. Like she didn't have like one of those mashers and stuff. She'd get the potatoes out and they were and when they're
so
cooked,
they were boiled well, yeah.
yeah, they were
100%.
boiled so good because she's like, if you can't mash it with a fork and get
Yep.
it up, like it's like, what are you doing? I do believe you need to keep some of the skins.
I respect that. I respect that.
Another texture thing. I already brought up the mac and cheese. This gravy.
Gravy must be added.
That's got
Gravy must be.
And you know what? It's like everyone's got their Goldilocks ratio of like the powder and like water mix to kind of make it to where it's like the right consistency. Because you don't want it to be snotty. You don't want it to be like gelatinous. But water.
You don't want it too liquidy.
Yeah, because then it's just like, what is this?
It's all over the plate.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
And I mean, like you don't want it like you obviously put it on your turkey and gravy. Oh, this is one that you have to. This is like that silent sleeper.
Oh,
one.
I'm getting you going now.
Oh, dude,
you're in the mix.
I'm telling you, dude, cream corn.
I love that.
You got to have a solid cream corn, something that's that one.
I love corn.
I'll give you a little bit of slack. I won't judge you for not wanting to shuck corn and then like put core in it and everything.
So that's on the bench, or that's what is that?
That is like my third down back. Like he's not in every game, but when it's like, hey, what else do we need to like finish this out? Let's get the big boy in here. Let's get that cream corn. That's just s- not so sweet. I'm more of a salty guy. Been that way a little bit. Like sweets just never really been my thing. But I mean, that is the big thing. And then you gotta have like a. I know it's. I'm not a big fan of pumpkin pie,
Pumpkin pie is fire though, man.
but it's good. I'm
I
not
don't know, you know
denying.
what's a good replacement for that too though? The butter pecan pie.
Ooh, yes.
That to me, it's every day of the week. I'm in.
However, I will also accept because this is my go-to for
Uh-huh.
if there is a pie. Call me an American boy, but I'm getting some apple pie with a scoop of like Breyer's vanilla ice cream.
I respect that.
Like it's got to be so hot that when you put the ice cream next to it,
It
start to
melts.
melt. Exactly.
It melts.
Like you got to have that, and if you don't wash it down with a big old thing of sweet tea with just a squeeze of lemon, that's fine. But it's like you got to have some sweet tea in there because if we're not getting diabetes, like
Diabetes.
diabetes, like that is like that's my lineup. Everything else is kind of ancillary. Like it is what it is.
Yeah,
Like
I like to wash it down the pies with either milk or almond milk or something like that along those lines. For some reason,
I
it's
respect that.
just I don't know.
It goes with the ice cream.
Yeah, it goes with the ice cream. It feels like it gets the sweetness,
kind of pushes it
feeling.
down.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It gets a little mixy, but I think something like that.
I mean, dude, but is there anything like your family's always done, or it's like kind of like a staple for you, like your family
So-
get-togethers on Thanksgiving?
So as years goes on, we've implemented more like the mashed potatoes, the gravy,
Yeah,
the sweet honey ham. That's the first time I tried it, I was like, Mom, we need to have this and she's gotten better at it. But we always have our own food. Like it depends how many family members are coming over, right? Because if they are, then we're cooking everything. We're cooking our own traditional food. I mean, we're making pupusas. I don't know if you ever tried that.
Mm-hmm. What's
but
that?
So pupusas. I'm trying to explain it. So picture a taco, right?
Okay.
With
White people taco or like hard shell taco?
I actually don't even picture a taco because that's not even a good. But picture a tortilla,
Okay.
and inside the tortilla, you have different options you can put. You can put beans, cheese, and pork. You can put chicken, whatever. But the beans, cheese, and pork are like the three traditional, right? Most people don't mess. Or at least what I've noticed from American people don't mess with the beans too much. Is with the cheese and the pork that they go with, and there's like some type of cabbage that we have, and then we have
Is it like
tomato sauce.
the cabbage? Is it like one of those like pickled cabbages or something like that, or is it just shredded?
It's more of it's not want to call it acidic, but the what they use is vinegar
Okay.
to
Yeah.
give it a little taste, and then we use tomatoes. Wouldn't call it tomato sauce, but it's like a tomato sauce. It's more liquidy though.
Yeah,
on
like
the
a
side.
pure, like you chop it up, kind of like
You blend it,
mint,
water.
yeah.
You put a little, and then it's supposed to be a little bit hot.
I'm sold.
But no, listen to me, man. I think you wouldn't. It's a different taste at the beginning, but it's our go-to. Like that's what we take pride in.
Man, that's the thing about like I've never like as
I
many.
gotta give you some now.
Oh,
I
dude,
gotta
I'm
make
excited
sure.
for it, man. I would love it. I mean, I'm always like that's the one thing I've never been as a picky eater. I have tried any and every. It's like, will it kill me? No,
Well, it will. Nah, if anything, I think it will give you more life.
exactly.
Yeah,
It's
maybe
dude,
the pork.
the pork part too, man. Like that alone. Like growing up, I remember we had these neighbors. I was so young, but it's like we went to elementary school together for a little while, and then like I think they moved like in I don't know, third, fourth grade, something like that.
Yeah.
But we had these neighbors that lived across the street from us, and his mom and his dad were so cool. Like always partying and stuff and like doing that thing. And it's like, hey, man, why don't we party, Mom? There's something to celebrate. And then, it's like, well, yeah, but we have school in the morning. It's like, so does he. And it's like, I was like, well, why can I go over there then? They're like, no. It's like, you need to go to bed. And then my window was facing there. So I just like peek out the window all night watching them party. And like, they had the slow cooker and all the stuff out there.
Yeah.
But what was always super sweet of them, and this is the reason when you brought the pork, I was sold. Because if it's any kind of like that, like, that, I don't want to say Tex-Mex, but like, just that traditional pork,
Yeah.
like stuff.
Yeah, the way it's blended and the way it's made. I got you. I see what you're
Yeah,
saying.
because they're like their grandma lived with them, and she was still young enough to travel around and stuff. Like, so she'd go back home, like to I don't know. Like I said, I was so young, I don't remember all the details. But she'd always bring back like the ingredients from Mexico.
Yeah.
And dude,
Oh,
like,
dang.
and they were so cool because me and her sons and stuff, like we would all play and stuff, and like we were all really cool with each other. And she would always bring over a plate, and I was like, dude, I don't know why. Like I honestly cannot get behind like all the like the Trump people that like are like build a wall, keep them out. It's like no, like let's look. I can understand the argument for legal immigration, but it's like let's weigh this out here. Like let's get it's like maybe they come with a plate. We can give them like something.
Hey, what's up? Listen, our food might save us. You heard it here first, bro.
Hey, there's a reason they say the best way to a man's heart is through his stomach, because it's like if you show up and you're like, hey man, look, let's talk about it.
Yeah,
we got a plate for you, and it's like, all right, I'll hear you.
We were talking about that, man. I was I feel I think that's something so simplistic as food, like makes us really happy as men and a lot of people. But if I ever have a wife, bro, that like always like looks after me, tries to make new things for me, even when I have people over, like, hey babe, what do you want? Anything you want?
It's
some food?
impressive.
That is love, capital
LOVE exclamation point.
Yep.
Like, I mean, I agree with you, man. Because I mean, I don't know how you feel about this, because it's like the thing that's always kind of helped me, like, kind of guide my dating decisions. I've had, a lot of thankfully very blessed ones, and things didn't work out, but it's like, most of the time, like, we've left amicably.
Gotcha.
It's like, I'm not one of those guys that's going to stay
Is
friends.
amicably, is that I haven't heard that. Is that good terms?
Yeah, it's like, hey, I don't like, maybe like I feel like I've always been the one that's gotten dumped, but it's just like she's like, hey, I don't think this is the way I want to go.
Gotcha.
Things like that. But I'm like, hey, look, I don't if you feel that kind of way, I'm not gonna be the guy to like beg you to come back.
Right.
It's like it's like I want to work. I'm the fixer. Like it's like I want to fix things. It's like, oh, there's a problem, let me fix it.
Right.
But it's like when they decide to go, it's like, all right, cool, but I do not keep you in my friends list. Like I've told
GG's.
I just like, good game. See you maybe in the next life. It's like it's cool, but it's like I'll get over it. You try to be as healthy with it as possible. And my mom actually gave me that advice. It's like, look, of course you never put your hands on a woman unless you're trying to save like a kid's life or like something. There's got to be something super like intense about that, because otherwise, as a Southern guy, it's just like, and of course, women maybe keep your hands to yourself.
Yeah.
But beyond that, it's just like you don't leave. You don't like don't fight for like she'd tell me like don't like just be on call. If you're always available, she will get bored of you.
Right.
Like stuff like that. My mom taught me.
Shout out to moms.
Mom.
Shout out to moms.
She watching out for me. But it's just like, she'd tell me that kind of stuff. But like leaving those relationships, it was just like the thing that I always kind of was looking for is someone that is a good representation of like the person and the man that I want to be. Because like that's the thing I've learned like in the last couple of relationships with all the politicalness of the world becoming so hyper political.
Right.
It's like, oh, well, he didn't like post the black square on his Instagram. Why are you dating him? And it's like, chill. First off, I was like, I didn't wake up till 1 o'clock on that day. First off, so I didn't know that we were doing that. And I mean, it's also like, I'm one of those guys like, oh, everyone's telling me to do something. Well, I'm definitely I'm not doing that. But I mean, it's like you feel the same. Like I feel like that's the thing that women and men both have to take into account, is that if that person is deciding to step out into society and say, I am his, he is mine, we are together, marriage is obviously the top version of that. But I think there is like a standard that you just like, hey, like you represent me, so don't go out there like getting drunk and like acting like a fool. Like I've done plenty of times, but she's also got to hold up that end of the bargain too. And if you get a woman that's like, hey babe, your friend's coming over, like Joey McClain, love you buddy, his wife, rock star.
I love that.
She like,
I'm happy for him if that's the case.
Dude, she is an example and like a measuring stick, and it's like, I mean, like, you feel me? Like that's kind of something I feel like you look for in a partner. Is like, hey, look, we're going to take this endeavor together. Yeah. And you represent me, I represent you, especially when you're going solo. If you're out in the world,
man, that's beautiful, man. I think for me, that's an important fact. Like if my friends are coming over and like I'm about to have a good time with them, instead of you flipping out or like getting jealous at the fact, or whatever the case may be, the emotional side of the women, instead of going through those emotions and you just be like, why can't you just be happy for me and like even make that even better? How can I make that even more special? Like that to me is, we don't need so much. We simplicity, man.
Bro, we're such simple beings.
Simplicity, like that makes us happy, and like we're like, yo, that's the one. I need something like that in my life. To be honest.
Like, dude, for instance, like the example with Joey and his wife, So Joey's birthday was coming up, and she started a group message with all of his friends, or like the ones that she trusted. I was like, I made the list.
I mean, you made the cut.
I made the. Oh, dude, yeah.
You're not being talked about at night sometimes.
It's like, you really gonna go hang out with Jared?
Yeah. Jared.
It can only be Jared, you know. I'm just saying. But like, she did this really cool thing, and I like any of Carlos's female listeners that have a guy like, first on, you know, he's here. He's
Hey, what's up?
A grade right
What's
here.
up? Yeah.
But like, if you do this kind of thing, like she pulled off this like behind his back group texted everyone, hey, can you all just show up to the house? I want to take Joey. Like, hey, it's your birthday. Let's go on like a lunch date. Come back to the house. I'll change. We'll go on a dinner date and we'll spend all day together. And he's like, oh, of course, babe. I love you. I want to do that. She tricked him. She's like, yeah, we went out to lunch date. That was for me. And then she brought him back to the house and we were all there. And she's like, bye, babe. And took off, had her friend come in from town. They went and did their thing. She stayed over like with her at her place or whatever.
Wow.
So I was like, that is top
W woman right there, bro.
like that, like, oh my God. And then my buddy Luke, who I've had on my podcast, like his wife, he did kind of the same thing for her, where like he took her to her friend's house and all the girls were there. Like,
that's actually really cool. That's a good idea.
Like,
I gotta take that one,
dude. I mean, those kind of things are always going to be like those, like, that's just like, wow, you thought about this. And Joey, how did you not know what was happening? You saw your wife in a group text with all your friends. She had multiple like dishes of like buffalo chicken dip and all these things just like pre-made. So she could literally just she's like, she texted us like, hey, whoever gets to the house first, preheat the oven to 450 and then throw one of the chicken dips in. And I opened up the fridge because I was like the first or second there. And I was like, Jesus Christ, she made four whole dishes, like whatever you want, like the baking pans.
Yeah.
I'm like, how did Joey not know something was
My
up?
man was probably just chilling.
He's just like, oh, dude, my wife's like, you know, she's
Doing her thing.
trying new recipes, you know, from like, you know, Etsy or Pinterest or what, Pinterest, not Etsy, but like just trying stuff out that she saw online. It's like, I want to make this and try this out. Cause I mean, I've been with girls that have like, oh my God, I saw this on TikTok. Let's try this. And so there's like, now there's like 2 or 3 things in the fridge. I'm like, well, cool. I got food for the next 2 weeks. So I can understand, I guess, now talking it out while Joey's like, it's not suspicious. Oh, why is there 3 charcuterie boards? Well, whatever. She likes, you know, charcuterie boards. Fine. But dude, she did top-notch work. Absolutely did everything great.
That's W. That's a W woman. That makes me happy for my boy. That you know what I mean? We inspired to be that one day.
Yeah.
To be in that situation.
Dude, I mean, it just takes time. And you know what's funny? I was thinking about this last night. I played a gig and I was talking with a guy. I want to say his name was Rick or
not Flair, right?
Not Flair. Woo! Woo! Yeah, not Rick Flair. I would have been taking lots of pictures with that guy. But this guy that was, you know, he was like, dude, you're, you know, chilling. Like, I was like, I loved every song you played and stuff. And then we kind of were just hanging out. And then all of a sudden he took an abrupt turn. It's like, are you a logical guy? I'm like, yeah, I mean, I'd like to think so. And starts like kind of going on this talking path of like, you know, how hard it is to date. Cause he's, you know, I was talking about how like one of the hostesses was super fine. And like, she was like kind of pretty that you're not even near her. And she's like, I bet she smells nice. Like, she's just that kind of pretty where you're just like,
she's giving off that energy.
Just like, she just seems like a really nice, you know, it might have been her vape that was like cotton candy, you know, maybe that's what I was smelling, but I don't know. But she just was super sweet looking, like just as you know how there's hot, cute, and beautiful.
Yeah.
It's different. Like there's a mix. There's a mix and different kind of like chemistry to it. But he starts like talking about how hard it is to date. And I'm like, well, are you trying? Like, what are you doing? Because the apps is not enough.
Yeah.
Like I don't know, man. It's just like,
you've been on the apps?
I've tried.
Well, I got a question. Were you ever on Tinder back in the day or no?
Why? Who'd you talk to?
No, I'm just asking. I'm just asking.
She about to come out the corner with a kid. It's like, hey, Jared, were you on Tinder 8 years ago? Because this friend of mine has an 8-year-old son that's oddly.
He kind of looks like you, yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, and his name is Tuesday, so it's weird.
Lies.
No, so because bro, back in the day, Tuesday. I mean,
I was like,
I'm thinking about Tuesday.
I'm like, yeah. I'm waiting for her to walk around the corner.
Coming out. No, so back in the day, I mean, Tinder, like when it was popping off, like what 2013,
Like when it was the thing.
it was the thing. Like before Netflix and chill became Netflix and chill, like you were part of the trend that became Netflix and chill.
Everyone was trying to find their Tinderella. Yeah.
Bro, facts. But that time was different, man. Like that, like app, wild. Like that. It's a moment in history. I will call it.
It was definitely one of the many tumbles down the staircase of the fall of Western civilization.
Facts.
Like-
Yo, did you ever have like a bad experience in a dating app? Like, did you ever get catfished?
Yes.
You got catfished?
I mean, she was really good with her angles. And it's like, it's like, that's why.
Ew, he even said angles because I know what you're talking
Angles.
about.
Yeah, no, it was like, we met for like a coffee date because that was my thing. I was like, let's not meet at a bar, like, because people change as they're drinking. And I think there's a point where you do need to see if they do drink, you need to see what they're like when they're drunk. Because if like you're one of those like people, men and women both, like sometimes like have that tendency of like they start out as a solid, easygoing person that's just really chillaxed, and then they have like a couple of beers and some like a few drinks, and then all of a sudden they're just a handful. I've been that guy. I've overdone it. I tried to drink responsibly and responsibly got absolutely tore up. But it's like, yeah, it's just like, and then the back of my head, I was just like, all right, we'll kind of talk, we'll do our thing. We'll just, oh, cool. How many, you go through the normal questions. How many siblings do you have? What do you like your job? All those like kind of, cliche questions. Because, it's like you took the time to meet me. I'm going to give you like at least the best I can. But it's like, yeah,
you already knew.
I was like, I can't pick you up. I'm not dating you. It's like, I need to be able to carry you out the fire. What? Look, okay, maybe you can make an argument I need to go to the gym more. Too much? Too much? Okay.
No. I'm okay. It's just the way you said that.
I'm just saying.
You've got me twice already. That gets.
Look, I got nothing to lose anymore, man. I got only everything to gain.
I'm about to get canceled.
Yeah, sorry. Fair warning to everyone. I will speak my mind. It won't be right. I ain't going to be wrong, but I ain't going to be right. But
it's okay to have your preference.
You want 6 foot, I want under 200. Unless I will say there are exceptions to every rule. Because if there's a girl out there that's like a volleyball player, like WNBA player, because there's some fine WNBA players and some fine volleyball players that are like 7 feet tall, I'll climb them trees. Like, I am so sorry, Carlos. I should have warned you. Like, we should have had.
Yo.
Look, I'm just saying, like a girl that's 6 foot tall, that is athletic, she's probably gonna be over 200 pounds, and I get that. And I'm, these are mostly jokes. I'm saying like there are a lot of cool things about like people that you can get to love. And like the same way, I'm not the most fit guy in the world. I'm not Chris Hemsworth.
Right.
She could hold me to those standards, and a lot of girls want things, and guys want things.
Yeah, it's preference. Everybody has their own thing.
Yeah, and so, but it's just like you do need to be honest, because it's like if you have to catfish someone to get them to show up, and then it's like, what do you think? How do you think that's going to work?
Yeah,
like
no, that's a solid point. Solid point.
Like going back to like the Tinder stuff. Like nowadays, like I've actually switched over to like some of the Christian apps.
Yeah,
and people are like, really?
Upward?
Well, dude, Upward is basically it's the same company that owns Tinder.
Damn.
Yeah, it's like all these companies that make these dating apps. Like I heard this from a TikTok, but it was like they're just marketing companies. Like all the data you put in there, you put in your preference. They see what you like. It's all about like selling your data.
Oh, yo, I never looked at it that way.
Because what do you, like, what are your likes? You're athletic. You like this. You like that. You basically just give an open
they
book.
will sell that to other companies.
Yes.
Wow.
Just data mining, man.
Game is game, because I didn't think about that.
Well, you're talking about your most intimate personal preferences, like you're saying.
And then you write your personal information on the questions they ask.
Exactly.
Wow.
And look, if I was a marketing executive or someone that was in that game, I'd be like, this is the perfect thing. I, however, will never get back on Bumble. Y'all suck at first, like interactions.
Oh, that is right. Bumble's the one where women have to
like you first, and then like
they have to write
message.
to you.
Yeah, they have to message first. Hey is not an opener. That is not.
Are you holding them to the same standards they hold you?
quality. You asked for this. But you know what was one of my favorite openers on like any of those apps?
Let me hear it.
It's like, hey, this is something you won't believe, but I'm actually your husband from the future. I've come back in time to settle an argument about where our first date was.
Wait, you use that?
Yeah.
Where'd you hear that from? That's a good one.
I want to say it's from one of the dating coaches that I, like on like Instagram and stuff, and like our.
Go ahead.
I mean, it's just I was like, that's solid. I'm like,
That's
it was
solid.
such a good open. It's like it's like I came back to settle an argument about where our first date was. It's like, so was it? And then you name like a couple places.
Yeah.
Is it? I know it was one of these. So which one was it? And she's like, oh, it was definitely, the movie theater, the park, whatever kind of things.
And
you
you
think
take
of.
her on a date there. I am picking up what you're putting down, my boy.
You're mowing the grass that I'm laying,
100%,
bro. I mean, it's like that's the other thing too. Is like, there's no easy way to open it. So it's like,
I wonder why you need extremely dope or cool pickup lines when you meet in person. You're just like, yo, what's up? Like, how you doing? You know,
Yeah.
like it's just say, how are you? My name is Jared.
It can only be Jared. There's some free advertising for him.
Is that hold up? Let me hear a little of the voice you got you working with the music.
I mean, getting put on the spot to sing the stuff. It's like it's like I don't do acapella.
You better pay me for my services.
Just saying. But no, one of the other really good ones that for in person that I from of all people, Little Dicky, like the guy.
Okay, yeah, Lil Dicky. Yeah.
I saw a video
Friday.
Yeah, Little Dicky. He was talking about like meeting like talking to someone out in the wild, as I'll call it. He was like, "Hey, on a scale of 1 to 10, how open to being hit on are you right now?"
Oh, yo, good.
I was like, "That's pretty good."
I can see it.
Yeah, I
can see it.
Saw him say that on some video and stuff, and I was like, honestly, it's super solid, and it gives them an easy like out to say, "Oh, I'm so sorry, I'm not open to being hit on. I have a boyfriend," or just like, "I don't know what you got," and then you hit him with the then you got to follow up with that. And usually,
I think even if they question like that's an open.
Yeah, I mean, and at the end of the day, you can't go wrong with the hey, my name's Jared. I saw you, and I just felt like a fool if I didn't come over and introduce myself. What's your name?
I didn't. That full part, it's good.
Yeah,
it adds a little.
It's like, hey, if I didn't come talk to you, I would be the one that was an idiot. Like you're obviously and then she's like, well, why would you want to come talk to me? He's like, well, you're obviously extremely beautiful.
Yeah.
Like, but the thing is just like it's so hard, and everyone has to own up to their fears. It is insanely intimidating to walk up to a stranger and try to say, hey, I think you're really pretty. Do you want to talk? And then you're like, oh, that's all I got. Like you have to have like something to kind of follow.
Yeah, it's pressure, man.
It
100% pressure.
And I mean, like I've seen horror stories, and guys, don't just listen to TikTok and Instagram. Like the world is a much bigger place than your phone screen.
Have you ever considered changing your name from Jared to Riz Monday?
Nah. It's just Riz is going. As soon as I do, they're going to have some new slang term that's not. And then
that's not Riz.
Yeah, it's like oh, that's tight. It's like what 2010 called. They wanted.
Oh, yo, talking about Tinder. You seen the Tinder swindler or on Netflix? You never saw it?
What's
Bro.
that?
So you got to watch this.
Okay.
This is really. So this guy created a whole persona of the fact that she basically claiming that he was rich on Tinder.
Yeah.
This was in Europe, by the way. Somewhere in Europe, somewhere over there across the pond. So they were talking about, well, he was on his files, hitting up these women and, basically kind of letting them know that he was, he had money, this and that. Well, but the reason he had money was because he was using their money to basically, for him to like sustain his lifestyle that he was having. So he will say something like, let's say he was talking to a girl for, I don't know, like a month or so. All of a sudden, he would come up with like, hey, babe, like, I need, can I borrow $10,000, $20,000 because, I'm going through this business transaction, or I've been kidnapped, or these people want to kill me, blah, 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 whatever, this crazy ass excuses. And the woman, of course, they're liking him and they believe him because he's got this lifestyle, traveling and, I don't know.
Oh, he's good. He'll pay me back.
Correct.
Yeah.
Right. And that's, I guess that's a thought process. Well, the women even go out to the point where they'll borrow the money so they can,
No.
borrow, some from the bank or anything and give him the money. You know what I'm saying? And they would, and eventually, like, he will ghost them.
Yikes.
You get me? And they will be in debt with $20,000, and that's what he was using to sustain his lifestyle. And then
That's what he was
basically
using to rent
wash, rinse, and repeat.
It's like, oh yeah, let me take you out for a ride in my Bentley that I'm renting because like I'm borrowing. Oh my god.
Exactly. And he would fly out to see them, but of course he was using other people's money, other women's money, and he would
all
just,
a house of cards.
yeah.
Jesus, man.
Dude.
I mean, like, there's
Crazy.
It's crazy.
You've
out
got
there.
to watch that, man, and you'll be like, damn.
One of the things
crazy.
I'm kind of converting to is not so much the apps, but going back to like, this is going to make me sound like an old man.
Cringe.
It's gonna be, maybe a little cringe material coming up for you guys if you're into that stuff. But I mean, there's tons of Facebook groups and there's tons of like websites and like meetup groups. And you know what? It's like, especially if you have friends, like, I don't know, like in my age group right now, like you and me, like we kind of are in the point where that's one of the, like, our friends are getting married or having kids or both. And it's just like their lives are becoming consumed by their duties as a husband or wife and as a father and mother. And, it's like, that's honestly fair. Like, go out there, be fruitful, multiply.
Right.
Do it, man. Go after it. And as the single guy that's now in a lot of the friend groups, like everyone's got their girlfriend, wife, child. It's changed a lot on me personally and socially. The biggest thing is like my drinking. Cut down a lot of the drinking.
Good.
For not only the health reasons and stuff like that, but also it's like, oh, I don't want to have to explain to my child what drunk is because you couldn't handle having a few beers at the little get together we were having.
Right.
Like, no one's going to invite you over to like hang out and have a couple drinks if you're going to be absolutely sloshed in front of their 2 or 3 year old.
Right.
You can't do that.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's like, that's just the thing is like, you want to be involved in your friends' lives and stuff like that. So, I mean, doing that is a big reason, like, to kind of, I've curbed a lot of my drinking. It's just so I can still stay in my friends' lives because it's like
maturity, man. That's good.
You're growing. You got to own up to it. But also, is then like you find these groups and meetup things where it's like, hey, my friends can't come out, but these other single people that are in this age range that I'm looking for, they can come out to these like the one in Atlanta that was really cool is Atlanta Field Day.
Okay.
I think it's still up and operating, but it's a it's a social group, but they'll go to the Beltline. I can't remember if there's a couple different spots that they've done it, but it's not, right next to Reformation Brewing and stuff. There's that big field, and they'll set up like volleyball, badminton, all kinds of different games and stuff. And it's just like a field day, and you kind of get put on teams and stuff, and you go out there and you just have fun. And then, I mean, there's a lot of better looking dudes than me, but it's like, I'm funny, I hope.
Yeah.
Funny enough to like get past the little bit of love that's around the
love handles.
The love handles. Hey, it's cushion. I'm built for luxury, not for speed.
I like that.
But I mean, like, that's honestly something that I'm trying to really work back into my life, especially as I get back into the dating like stuff, and like really, I am looking for like a dating experience that leads towards a marriage because I ain't getting any freaking.
So, ladies, if you're interested in my boy, if you're listening, watching, maybe watching some shorts on TikTok some TikToks and shorts on YouTube. Yeah, I don't know if that's helping, but hey, my man's is right here. Lock in.
The DMs are open.
The DM. Oh, I like that. Oh, whoa. Hello.
Gotta get some of the.
Can you do it? Can you do a little baby lock them door?
Baby, lock them doors and turn them lights down low. I ain't built for speed. We're gonna take it nice and slow.
Okay.
I'm just saying, dude.
Hey, I like that. Wait, so we started with music and we're gonna end with music. Okay. And I want you to let us know a little, kind of closing us out with, when do you usually go on? When do you usually have events? How do they work? I'm actually interested in knowing a little bit about that, and because I want to go watch you. And I was telling you last time, I think going to when you're playing to an event or whatever, like that's a good first date to take a,
Yeah, it definitely shows you.
And
a lot.
then if I take the girl, make sure you shout me out like this is for Carlos and his. They won't. You know what I'm
They're
saying?
like, oh my god.
Oh my God, you know him?
He's so calm.
Oh.
Dude, I mean, the best thing about that is like it
I'll tip
shows
you
a
extra.
lot. You heard it here. Throw my boy some subscribers, get on this, get that monetization going, so you can tip your boy. It all flows back.
I got you. Hey, so I'm actually gonna pull that off.
Dude, let's do. I'll pull you up on stage and be like, "This is my boy. He's the best man I've ever met."
Oh my God, my anxiety just went through the roof right there.
Yeah, everyone's usually cool with getting shouted out in the crowd, but I'm that guy that's like yank. But dude, so just to give you a breakdown of what like I do with music right now, it's taken a long time to kind of build up everything that I can to support myself. A couple things that I would recommend to all the musicians out there is you got to make a choice. Because a lot of people like, and I did this in the beginning where I tried to juggle between having a band, playing every weekend, 40-hour work week, and then you got your own social life, dating life, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You do have to make some concessions. Like you have to make a decision on like what you're willing to give up. The social life, I wouldn't say give that up, but you got to taper it to where it's like business mind. Like you're not going to be like just the same way as you go networking, go out there and you try to be a part of like different groups. Definitely. You got to be in the scene, and that's something I'm working more in trying to do now that I have the free time. And the other decision you got to make is what kind of band do you want to be? Because you can make money as a cover band. You can go out there and play covers, write songs, and kind of slip in your own original music every now and then. But like I since I don't have a normal 9-to-5 job anymore, I do cover music, weddings, and stuff like that to make the money. And all that money goes back into the recording studio for the original stuff.
Gotcha.
So you do that to make the money, make to whatever you got to live. Also, guys, sorry, you might have to get a roommate. Like if your band can all work together and don't do drugs. Like the drugs never help. Oh, the drugs do not. Man. It's like, sorry. Like, look, I'm saying like, yeah, ripping a bong and like going and playing music, it might make you a little more creative. Sure. There's pluses and negatives to it. But when you have to do it all the time and it becomes a crutch, that's when you need to start backing off and like get yourself right. Having a few beers, like splitting a 6-pack during a jam session, nothing wrong with that.
Right.
Having a little bit of of the pins, the pin jamming, going, getting that going, and like yeah, sure, it gives you a little bit of like inspiration. But there is like a point where you have to make the decision: is like, would you do that in any other professional position that you do?
Right.
And I mean, like,
keep it professional.
You got to keep it professional.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, like, there's a lot of people like Ron White. He's a comedian, Blue Collar Comedy Tour.
I don't think I heard him.
That's okay. It's like, he's one of those guys now where and a lot of people have been finding out that are in music and stuff. They might have like a Heineken Zero on stage because I've had a lot of shows where people bought me shots. It's like, hey, if you play this song, I'll buy you a shot. I'm like, all right, bet. And then, 5 or 6 shots later, like I still got an hour to play. And I'm like, oh, no, guys. I don't even know how to sing anymore. Like, those things will always affect you. And, like, another thing I've been doing recently is don't, like, ask for a tab. Like, say, hey, if you're going to, we have a 5-piece band, you're getting paid, let's say, like, $800. Like, cool. Like, and, oh, we give you a $50 tab. Why don't you just throw that into the check? Just throw that in the check, because when you have a $50 tab and beers, like $5-6, or like they might give you like an employee discount. It's like, yeah, oh well, you're over your tab because your bass player or your drummer or you and kind of went nuts or something like that. Like don't take a tab from the bar. Tell them to put that into the check. Keeps you a little bit more honest and things like that. And like that's what I've been doing now. And then get on as many kind of different platforms. There's a couple ones off the rip that I use is Band Mix to find musicians. It's like a Facebook dating app for musicians.
Whoa.
Yeah, and it gives you like a level of how like committed you are.
Okay.
So you can be hobbyist, intermediate, or something that's like on the, hey, I just do this, for fun, or just trying to like grow in my musical like musicianship.
Levels.
Yeah, or you can put touring, super committed, this is my life. You can like put those things out there, and you can find other people through your search that are saying the same thing. So Band Mix is a good one. One of the other ones I was talking about earlier is using LinkedIn. So like using LinkedIn to find people that are managers of offices, corporations, bigger companies that have corporate events. Like you can headhunt for yourself get your the cover band side of your music. You can get in there and say, hey, like, like a New Year's Eve party that I'm bidding on right now. Right now we're, we got a bid out there, and the ladies that I'm working with, she's talking it over with her people, and they're like, hey, because a wedding band, like, you can charge a lot for weddings.
Yeah, man. That's I think. What is that? I heard somewhere where like weddings and funerals are where people spend the most money. Like they're careless about the money.
Well, it's like in a perfect world, you're only going to have one wedding,
Right.
I'd be surprised if you had more than one funeral. Like someone messed up along the lines. But like those two things, people's emotions are high, and you definitely don't want to take advantage of people. But if you're going to pay someone, like we had this wonderful couple, for an example, they were having a wedding out in Toccoa, Georgia. Beautiful place, family was super nice. Everything was really, really, really well done. But it's like to get me and like five other, or in this case, she was really adamant about having a 3-piece. So just guitar, bass, drums. Like
Okay.
that was it. Like
So you can choose how many.
the bride gets her way.
Well, you can choose like so. So
Yeah.
you can choose how many people in the band can go.
Well, that's the other thing too, is you got to make decisions. And on this case, she was like, I want to have a 3-piece band.
Oh, okay, that's what it's called. 3-piece band.
Yeah, the power trio, jazz trio, or just she wanted a trio. And the place was small, so I mean, it wouldn't have been the end of the world. But she was just like, I was like, are you dead set on having 3 people? She's like, yeah, I just want 3 people. That's my vision. That's what I want. And so she did that. But it's like, all right, to get 3 people to drive like hours and hours away and stay there basically all day, it's like you have to pay for that. Like, and you want us to dress up in suits. So it's like, hey, we need to, work something out. So weddings are great, but
How did that run? How much did that runner?
it's a base by base, thing. I mean, that one we were pretty lax about. We gave her a good price. It was around $1,000.
Okay, it's not bad.
I mean, it's like pricing is one of those things. You can either put a hard price in there, but it's like
You got to go with the flow.
you got to
go
figure
with the
out.
moment. Yeah.
Like I've been negotiating, and that's the hardest part, is negotiating your price. You got to know what your worth is. You got to say, hey, man, I've spent my whole life learning how to play music, saying I've got a set list set up that I play normally. Like, and then you want us to learn songs. You want us to prepare and like customize everything. It takes time, and there's like a flow to it. So, I mean, like a lot of wedding bands, I've heard some wedding bands that are absolutely top notch, they'll charge $3,000, but they also have a trumpet section, or like they have a trumpet, trombone, saxophone, and then a keyboard, 2 guitar players, 3 backup singers, and it's a big band.
Do you charge? I'm saying, is there a certain like a minimum amount of hours you have to go, or like be like? Do you say it has to be 2 hours at least for me to?
I kind of put it around 3 hours as hey, it's like whatever rate that we work out, like travel distance, travel time. That was travel. But yeah, travel distance and like prep time is one of the big things. Because if I have to use like, let's say like the band mix app to find somebody, because like maybe the bass player that I'm using right now, or the drummer, or somebody's not available, or they really want these songs that require a piano player, keyboard player, like I got to go source that person. And just like a general construction, it's like, oh, you want to have this very specific kind of work done, I got to go find someone that I can bring onto my like subcontract, essentially, to get them to come in and play a certain way, or do those kind of things. So I mean, like it's a base by base kind of situation on there, but you use that to kind of make a 3-hour minimum. And the other thing you also got to take it into account is, like, even me right now, I probably sound a little maybe more hoarse than I'd like to. Sang a gig last night. Your fingers are like, they're one thing, and like, your physical body is something that you can make a stamina, like have more stamina for. But your vocal cords, oh my god,
you gotta rest them.
Like, dude, have you ever seen what your vocal cords look like?
Probably a picture, but I don't recall very well.
They look like a vagina.
Really?
Yeah, you got like 2 little things that are just flaps.
What does it look like?
Well, you know the vagina.
Go ahead.
But yeah, it's like you got your esophagus and stuff, where or not the esophagus, but your windpipe, and then you got the 2 little like pieces of flesh and tissue that are just rubbing. That's what makes the things,
the
and
sound.
The sound, and then when your mouth and your soft palate and stuff, like that's what kind of makes it look or sound like it's the different accents and things.
Yeah.
So it's like, but like John Mayer, Adele are 2 people that I remember, like they've had these things called nodules on their vocals. And I actually remember one time I got my vocal cords scoped from a vocal coach. They was like, hey man, like you should probably get, you've been singing a lot like for your whole life, like or like for so many years consistently. You should probably just go get your vocal cords
Yeah.
scoped. And they put the thing down your throat and you can see them. And I was like, ew, kind of looks like a weird vagina. And I said that just as the really pretty like nurse walked in, and she's like, "Wow, all right." I was like, "Oh no!" My dad was there cracking up. He was like, "Yeah, good job, son." But she actually found like the same way, like you can feel them. Like this is my guitar playing hand. Like you feel those like calluses right there. Like they feel like little like kind of worn leather pads.
Oh snap! Yeah.
I mean, basically one of those was on my vocal cords. And what ends up happening is that's dead skin. So it's like it's just dead skin that hasn't peeled off yet. And it's just layers and layers and layers of it. So it's a callus, like you know he used to get from weight training and stuff. That was on my
So
vocal.
that's why they went away.
Yeah. Don't worry. It's okay if they go away because you're doing other types of workouts, but if it's because you're wearing gloves.
Nah. Oh.
Sorry, I can't get behind the gloves at the gym. But yeah, like that was one thing that happened with my vocal cords, and I had to take like a month off to let them heal. The same way, like when you do stop working out consistently, or you just change up your routine, maybe you're going for more cardio and stuff, you lose those calluses.
Yeah.
But what happens is like with John Mayer and Adele and a lot of artists, and when they get nodules, is that because you're breathing, like all the bacteria in the air and stuff, it gets into that skin, or it gets in there and causes an infection. And like you can actually like it can terribly damage your vocal cords.
So what is a nodule? What is that?
It's the callus that gets infected on your vocal cords.
Oh no.
Or nodules, whatever it's pronounced.
Yeah.
Like. But you get those things on your vocal cords, and then like if it gets really bad, you might have to get it surgically removed.
Oh.
And if that happens, and if you're a top like singer, like if you're Dua Lipa, like any of those other people out there, like a Taylor Swift out there singing every night, you know, those kinds of like performers, it could totally like sideline your career, and then you come back and you don't sound the same. So when it comes to like doing the business side of it, you have to like know what you can safely do. Like some of the heavy metal screamers and stuff like that, like they almost have to build up a callus. Like Corey Taylor of Slipknot and Stone Sour, you know Slipknot. They're the guys that has like 10 or 12 dudes in a band. They all wear masks and jumpsuits and stuff. Maybe it's not your jam.
It's definitely not my head.
But it's just super heavy music, and he's I did my time. Like that guy's voice is made of steel. Like he is like made his voice and like you know with training and coaching he's gotten it to a certain way. But I say all that to say, like you really can only sing as long as your vocal cords can safely do it.
Right.
Same way like you can only work out so hard until you tear a pec, and then it's like, well, now you're not going to be doing any working out for a while.
Yeah, for a minute.
But yeah, but for all the musicians out there, like there is ways to make money on it. You just have to make some hard choices and like make the decisions on like where you're going to attack. If you're going to go after the businesses, like I said, I would use Bandmix. A lot of the Facebook pages are out there to meet musicians that are trying to do the same thing you're doing. You got to negotiate well. One of the other two apps that I use for kind of the Southeast, because I'll go to Alabama, Carolina, Bama, and all the way to Texas one time to go play a gig, and it was fun. I was visiting my buddy Tyler out there too. Shout out Tyler. We're coming for you one day. We're going to get you on the pod. But like Thumbtack's a really good one. The only downside is it's a little expensive. So you pay for leads, which is something that a lot of businesses and sales do. Like they might use Hoover or like a bunch of different ones to buy a database of leads. Thumbtack is really cool because what it does is that you pay like per lead. And I mean, some people might know Thumbtack is like, oh, I need to find a handyman, or I need to find a plumber, or I need like it's like an Angie's List on the consumer side.
Okay.
But what I've seen is that someone they take the money that you pay for the leads and they make it to where it's like if someone like let's say you're office manager, like one of those people I'd message on LinkedIn, like they might come out and say, hey, Carlos, we're having the quarterly big wigs come in at the end of the year for the Christmas party. Find some entertainment. And so you go, I don't know a Jared Monday or anybody out there. So I'm going to get on Google and I'll type in live music band near me.
Yeah.
And so I put my settings at the max because I will travel as long as you're willing to pay me to travel.
Oh.
So I think the max is about 200 or 150 miles. So I put that out there, and then Thumbtack takes all the money that they get from the lead. Like you make a weekly budget. you go out there and then it's like they say, hey, here's some like people they pay Google to basically be at the top of the search engine. The Bash is another one that I've used. It's you don't have to pay for the leads, but they do try to make it to where you all the payment goes through them.
Mm-hmm.
And I get it because they got to make money too.
Yeah.
So, but it's like they take like if you're going to charge $500, they take like $25 out of it.
Okay.
So it's like you're really making $475, which still
Not too crazy.
Not crazy.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But you got to kind of keep that in mind when you're pricing it. So it's like like kind of
$525.
it's like this is going to cost you $525, so I can make a solid $500. But those kind of things, on top of having just a really solid, committed group of musicians in your roster, like I kind of have like a roster of people that I work with. Drummers and bass players are always, like I said, the hardest to find. Still searching out for a nice keyboard piano player. So guys, DMs are open as well for you too. But like those are the big things I'd say is like right now as a musician that's trying to make a living doing it, you got to keep your reputation up, which is the biggest thing with reviews on Thumbtack and the Bash. I always tell them, like, I'll charge like, let's say like someone's, how, like I'm negotiating something.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you want me to drive to Atlanta? And it's going to be $800. Like hypothetically, like let's just say that's like. Then they go, dang man, that's expensive. Can you come down a little bit? I was like, hey man, for a guaranteed 5-star review, how about I drop it like $200? And I was always going to charge them like because it's not like you try to work that in that like hey man, like let's work something out here. Like, because the reviews and stuff push you up in the algorithm and things like that.
That's interesting.
So there's a lot of things like that you can do to do that. But the biggest part of that is you then take the money that you get from these kind of gigs and the work that you're doing on that end. Because there's a big buildup. You got to like be able to get out and play and stuff. But on the back end and the downstream of it, you go to these wedding venues. And like the one at Toccoa, they have our information now as a band. So if anybody there as a wedding venue, like, oh, yeah, I love this. I'd love to have a band. Like, oh, we have a...
so they'll reach out to you.
Yeah, we have a preferred vendor list that we use.
Gotcha.
So, it's the downstream of, like, the referral business. So you do that, and, it's like, weddings are weddings. They could be... Thankfully, all the brides that we've worked with have been phenomenal and very kind and courteous. But stop making me play as you walk down the aisle. That is the most nerve-wracking thing.
Wait, is it?
I'm terrified.
Which one's that one?
I've done it 3 times now.
Which one's that one?
Like where you just play as they're walking down the aisle. So it's like the big moment as she's coming down the aisle. Like she wants you to play some super sweet song. And it's like, I'll do it, but just understand that things break and like we might have to run it back. Like,
oh yeah, nah, you know what though? If you tell her like, hey, listen, nah, everything's perfect now. I'm gonna do my best.
Yeah. Setting reasonable and expectations is the biggest thing with those kind of clients. But like with the reviews and everything else, like that's the thing where it's like, if you can hold yourself and your musicians accountable towards like, no, you can't, it's not the same as like telling a bar, hey man, or something came up, we can't make it, which then again, that bar or that venue is never going to call you back.
Yeah.
Like you cancel on them and leave them out to dry, especially if it's a venue that's worked really hard over years to build and establish a reputation of having good music. Like they're like, all right, throwing them out, we'll go find somebody else, that can come in and play. But those are like my big 3 things, like get on Facebook Band Mix to find musicians, be willing to go out and in the scenes that you're in the local area, and then like find people, find bands, and then like see what they're doing that's successful. Copy the success of the people that are doing well. Thumbtack and the Bash are 2 other places that are like really good on finding and getting in the mix for those corporate gigs, as well as LinkedIn, messaging them on your own time. And so, I mean, especially if you don't have the money to pay for leads and things, like you're still working up to that spot. Those are the big kind of things I'd recommend, is like how to make it is like make music. Money with music.
Gotcha.
That you can reinvest in your own solo,
so
or
you
like
keep growing.
Yeah, your own like original music and things like that. And it's possible. It's not going to be the most lavish living, but
it's a passion that you have.
It's a
That's
passion.
important. Yeah, I mean, it's a passion.
I mean, it is what it is, man.
And people can find you on what, Facebook?
So yeah, I'm on Facebook, Instagram. I'm working on the TikTok. I haven't dove in yet.
I'll leave the links. Make sure to, even if anything, when you get a chance, you can send them to me, and I'll just post the links on the bottom of the YouTube channel. And
yeah, the easiest way is just type in Jared Monday on any of those, or Jared Monday Music. Funny enough, there is 2 other Jared Mondays that are doing music out there.
Dang, what are the odds?
I'm the one that looks like this. The one in Oklahoma, me and him are actually friends on Facebook.
Nice.
And he's like, hey man, I got someone reached out about a gig in Georgia. I think this one's for you. And we was like, thanks, bud. It's like, but yeah. But Jared Monday, it's Munday is
Munday,
not Lunes, not that way.
Not Monday.
But yeah, man, any kind of support, put me on your playlist. I'm on Apple, any Apple's like streaming service. I'm on anything that DistroKid distributes on. Like I'm on it all. Whatever you're on, I'm on. And any support, and if you like, comment on any of the music, negative, positive, I don't care. Any comment at this point is a good point.
Yeah.
And we just hope that me and my band and all the music and stuff that I do, I just hope you guys enjoy it. It can mean something to you.
When is your next show?
The next show with the full band is going to be in Braselton, Georgia, at the Moonshiners. There, I'll be playing
Here,
Braselton, baby. Oh God, this is so embarrassing. I can't remember. It's
no, but at least. So is there food there? Like, is it gonna be?
There's tons of great food there. The Southern Burger is my favorite.
What day is it?
I can't remember off the top of my head, but I know
this month.
I believe it's the 20 something.
All right, I'm just trying to pick up the date here, my boy.
I know. I put my phone over there.
Go get the phone. Go get the phone.
I gotta make sure got the good information.
While we wait for the phone, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to like my podcast on Amazon Music, on Spotify, and also Apple Podcasts, ladies and gentlemen. Because right now I'm trying to see if I can take somebody on the date like that. That's a good date.
Oh yeah, and don't worry, I won't pull the date up on the stage with me and you and stuff like that.
It's all you know what I mean. I'm just gonna be like, just shout me out when you see me there, so she knows what's up. I'm rolling with the big boys.
Hey man,
literally, and you feel?
I'll feel you,
I
man.
feel.
So yeah, the Braselton show is going to be on December 8th, Friday, December 8th.
Dope.
So yeah, and the place is really awesome. My boy Brad O'Neill, who I do a lot of recording work, he's a great sound technician, so it's not too loud. Everything sounds well mixed and everything out of the front of the house. But yeah, that's the next full band date. A lot of the other stuff that we're doing is going to be on there too. Let's
awesome.
See. But yeah, man, that's like, just follow me. I post about it. We get out there, we have some fun, and we make sure we have a good time.
Let's do it, man. Hey, brother, thank you for being here, man. Thank you for talking with a lot of passion. It's interesting. We had a really good conversation, bro.
Brother,
I appreciate you.
I appreciate you, man.
And don't forget to follow my man's. He is also, I'm going to post a link to his YouTube channel because he's also having a podcast. So go show some love, subscribe, like, comment, whatever you may do. It's a blessing. So thank you, man, for being here. And I'm definitely going to have you back on again.
Brother,
see
can't
what's
wait.
The update next time.
Absolutely, man. Love you so much, brother.
Thank you, man. I love you too, man. Thank you. All right, familia. See you guys on the next one. Peace and love. Take care of each other. Deuce.
And as my granddad always told me, be good or don't get caught.